What up? Welcome to Eagles Kickoff Live. I'm Gail Saunders here with the boys today. We are talking Eagles football, regardless of the fact that big news breaking this morning from Adam Schefter. But, we're going to start it off from the top. I mean, obviously we're talking about the Arizona Cardinals versus the Eagles today. But when you got breaking news from Adam Schefter, you have to, pay attention to it. So today we started off the day with Carson is not interested in being a backup. That's the situation with Jalen Hurts starting under center. He kind of doesn't want to be in this situation. Obviously, I understand, but what a bombshell to drop on game day. It seems like every time before game day starts, some big news drops. Always.
Yep. This is a bombshell for sure, man. And I was not expecting to wake up to that. I think everybody in this city pretty much felt that was the vibe. Like Carson, obviously, he doesn't want to be a backup. Everybody knew that in the back of their minds. But for this story to actually make its way out and to come from someone like an Adam Schefter, where nobody can really even deny it. I mean, how often is Adam Schefter wrong? So something with that much weight to it. And it's just crazy, man. I'm just thinking about the progression of what we've had with Carson Wentz throughout his entire career, and now this is where we're at. I just feel like this is the framework for the beginning of the end for Carson. I don't know how this story comes out, and we solve this. It feels like to me like we're going to end up having to find a way to facilitate a Carson departure from Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's not what we were expecting at the beginning of the season. But like we always say, it is what it is. And at this present time, the way things are looking, it looks like we're going to be headed down a direction that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to wear my Carson Wentz jersey today, but I think I might just have to for the vibes. Chris, how are you feeling, my guy?
Yo, what's up, Gail? What's up, guys? Honestly, it's pretty wild. We were talking about it before the show started. I mean, we went in March saying, is there even going to be an NFL season where we're going to get Eagles football? And now we're sitting here saying, is Carson Wentz going to be here on the roster next year? So it's pretty crazy. I mean, 2020 has been a doozy, but I don't think anyone was expecting Carson Wentz not being here anymore to be a part of the topic of talk, especially week 15. It's wild. Everyone in the chat, thanks for tuning in. Eli, Tim, Joe, Ryan.
Tim?
See all the questions there, guys. I mean, I agree with Tim right there. I mean, if he doesn't want to be a backup, he has to play better. Absolutely. I still 100%. Think that there's a lot of flaws in top to bottom with the team, but it doesn't help his case when Jalen Hurts rolls out as a rookie and beats the Saints defense. Having said that, I feel like Jalen Hurts is a Band-Aid for what a lot of the issues that we have. As I was saying, as an analogy, he's almost like a Band-Aid for a concussion. And Jalen Hurts, his legs, we saw him run for over 100 yards. Is that sustainable? I don't know. I sure hope it is, or I hope that he doesn't have to run like that all the time. But we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the kid today and going forward, but it's really going to be interesting to see how the Eagles handle Carson Wentz and the rest of the roster moving forward.
Yeah. I know Jimmy and Soko are fired up. I know Soko was giving me some nuggets earlier. We're just talking amongst ourselves. But how are you guys feeling?
You go, Soko.
It's kind of like disbelief in me. If you look at the progression of Carson Wentz throughout his time in Philadelphia, we crowned him our savior in 2016. We saw all of the great things, the playmaking ability, moving the pocket, making nice throws. Obviously he had some boneheaded mistakes, but we saw, the future of the Philadelphia Eagles organization. And then in 2017, he blesses us with what would have been, a shoe-in to win MVP had he, stayed healthy. But at the point, he was 11-2 and just locked up the first seed for the Eagles. We got that first round bye in week 13. You're talking, you have 4 weeks left and you already locked up a first round bye. So, I mean, the progression of it all, just the weight of everything is it feels off to me. Like it just doesn't feel right to not be able to see Carson Wentz out there on Sundays in midnight green or black or white, whatever it may be that Sunday. But it's so heavy to me.
I think for me, this news really, it pisses me off that Adam Schefter would be the one to share it. I think it's pretty obvious to all of us that, he is not comfortable with being a backup. Mentioned in so many of these shows, we've talked about the things he has done the past few years. I think having a bad year happens to a lot of quarterbacks. So I'm not so sure. I'm looking too much into this, but this is concerning. But, Tim said it earlier. He's got to play better, and I think that I've had all you guys pretty much on the show this week, and we've talked about the fact that, there's going to be a competition next year. I don't think because of the cap situation that we just get rid of Carson Wentz. And if he wants to be the starter, then he's going to have to play better. But that includes everything that you guys said, from Howie Roseman to Doug Peterson's play calling. They got to put the weapons around him, a Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. Imagine if we had that, DeAndre Hopkins. So we're about to find out today. But this, to me, we all knew this, you know what I mean? But yeah, when Adam Schefter tweets it, then you're like, holy hell, dude. And on game day, like, come on, man. No one likes us. We don't care.
Yeah, but Jimmy, at the end of the day, we do have a game to play.
Yes.
And it's sometimes you just have to put all those things behind you as a football team. And I think as a football team recently, I think it seems like they've rallied around Jalen Hurts. And I feel like Jalen Hurts has been like a refresher for the situation. The problem is all the drama behind him. And we're not the drama. We just sit here and report things, Jalen. But I just think, we see what we see. Obviously, we like what we saw from his legs last week. Kind of like, I know me and Chris did a video last week kind of asking for what we wanted to see from Jalen Hurts, and he gave that to us. A lot of his plays, I went back and looked at them really closely. You're looking at the all-22, and you're just like looking at his athleticism alone. Just his athleticism alone. I saw about 5 to 6 plays where I was like, man, Carson can't make those plays with his legs. And the plays just they show up on tape, and you're just like, wow, this dude, he really can get out there in the open pocket, open field. And now you have a guy like Miles Sanders who can break one, but when you have a quarterback who can also get outside the pocket, it makes you kind of like wary as a defense when you're seeing things like this. It's almost like pick your poison.
Yeah, Hurts brings a totally different skill set to the table. We've been talking about that. And I think one thing that I'm going to be looking out for today, I know that the cameramen are going to be on top of it. So Carson has always been super supportive whenever a backup takes in, whether he's in college, whether he's in the pros. Everybody remembers him in the Vikings game, in the NFC Championship game, him on the sideline clapping for Nick Foles after the flea flicker play. Everybody has those memories, but I think that there's going to be a lot of focus on the sideline today, and just seeing if Jalen Hurts has another good game and he's really performing well, just what the reaction of Carson Wentz is going to look like. Is that support still going to be there? With this report coming out, it kind of seems like it's the toxic locker room that we've been talking about throughout the entire season. It's really starting to come to the forefront right now.
Yeah, and it seems like they're playing harder for Hurts than they are Wentz, which is insane. So, it's going to depend on the next few games here how Hurts does. But, either way, I think we have ourselves a controversy, guys. I don't know if we just get rid of one, but these guys are going to have to battle it out next year, hopefully with more weapons.
Jimmy, I'm curious because I was on the road to victory last night. Or I was on the road to victory last night. And then we were talking about this. We were talking about Hurts and Carson, whether or not we're going to see a competition in camp next year. Do you think that with this report coming out, that kind of changes that conversation at all? Because to me, when I read this report, I wasn't viewing it as Carson was looking for any sort of competition at all. I read it as he's looking to come in here and be told he's the guy or else he doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, I think it definitely, as we talked about, is going to depend, as I just mentioned, what Jalen Hurts does here. If he keeps balling out, gets us in the playoffs or something, whatever craziness happens the next few weeks, that's really going to, be a big factor. But either way, I don't think that this team has given up on Carson Wentz, and I haven't given up. think he's having a really bad year, but we look from the top to the bottom, the issues that are on this team. So I really think we need to do a lot of work. I love the Band-Aid for a concussion little analogy. Look, this team's bad all around, but hey, if Jalen Hurts can bring a spark, that says something to you about him being a locker room leader. So, dude, we've got ourselves a controversy. I really think that they're going to have to battle it out. I don't think they're just going to give up on a guy they spent so much money on. And Jalen Hurts doesn't cost anything, so you don't want to get rid of him. But if he balls out, man, this is going to be interesting.
Now, I just don't think you can bring Carson Wentz back in the situation. I think, like, money aside, it's just not a good situation for him. I don't think he wants to be in it. Christopher says, what are the chances Wentz is here next? I don't feel like it's going to happen. I feel like if they're going to have to pick sides here, and if it, right now, from the looks of it, Adam Schefter story here, that doesn't sit well with me. And the fact that got out and who put it out there, with all these rumors that we're hearing, it's weird. It's been weird all season. And I feel like at the end of the day, I mean, like, even, Chris Long was saying, if I was Carson Wentz, he said I would push for a trade because they know what they did when they
drafted Hurts.
Start Hurts. And even, one of our old GMs here, look what he said. He said, I promise you that when the Eagles benched Wentz, they discussed his reaction and how they felt about it. The fact that he's upset, may not want to return, was thoroughly discussed before the decision was made to sit him. So, I mean, that's where we're at. Like, I mean, you could, that's a guy who's had weight here. He knows those guys. He knows how they think.
I know, but like, do you guys feel like I really do feel like we gave Carson a very long leash this year? I think that, like, granted, Doug Peterson's play calling has not been good. We bring it up every single week, and I'm aware of that. But compounded with that is Carson just simply isn't executing well, regardless of what Doug Peterson's game plan is. He's holding on to the ball too long, taking boneheaded sacks. We're having way too many turnovers this year. So, I mean, I think that, like, for Wentz to, like, that whole thing about just clearing it by him to be, is it okay if we bench you? Like, man, we've given you the leash this year. We've given you the benefit of the doubt at every turn. And I think that when he just hasn't performed, like, what other choice do we have at this point? Like, I don't have any problem with us starting Hurts the rest of the year. I really don't think many people do.
Yeah. Eli said, the whole offense is good. How can you play better when the GM is against you?
The GM doesn't make you throw the ball into double coverage. Let's be honest here.
I think the last comment was a good one.
The GM doesn't control your deep ball being underthrown. But, I mean, we can blame Howie as much as we want to blame Howie, but Howie has tried to give in Carson playmakers. It just hasn't worked out. That's the thing. It's not like look, you guys know me. I'm one of the biggest Howie haters there is. I think that his reputation among the league is very overrated. But at the same time, we can't act like he hasn't tried to give Carson these playmakers, like bringing in Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar with a first round pick, thinking Torrey Smith. Like, we spent 4 draft picks on wide receivers this year. Like, I'm sorry that it didn't work out. It's just, it just hasn't.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder with like, if Carson really seems, because at this point it seems like Carson is somewhat desperate to get out of this situation. It kind of like he made it very clear he doesn't want to be in this situation where he's not the leader of this team, and he wants to be a leader somewhere. So, like, do you think that Carson would be willing to forego some money in that contract just to make something like that happen?
See, I don't think it's going to be foregoing that money. So I'm big into cap manipulation. That's like one of my interests and my hobbies whenever, I'm not writing. Basically what it looks like it's going to be is they're going to add a year onto the contract and push the guaranteed money from the first year to the 5th year. That way, whenever he is traded, that dead cap hit is minimal, whether it be like 2.8 to like $3.5 million. That way, whenever he's traded, that team is taking on the bulk of that cap. rather than us eating it.
Yeah, but that also results in it not being so appealing for a team, and that limits our return as well on what we'd be able to get for him.
Right, but I mean, realistically, if Carson Wentz can return to form, he's on a favorable contract. He's not being paid top 5 money right now. So, I mean, if you get like a top 8 to 10 season out of him, you're getting your money's worth, I think.
I like what Puga says here. You know, I think that's something we've talked about a lot. If there is a disconnect between Carson and Doug, well, then that's concerning as hell. And if that is the case, well, then, yeah, then Carson Wentz probably will be gone. So I think that's something that we want to know, but we can't know because, dude, Doug, we see him in the pressers. It's like, son of a bitch. You can never, the guy is so pissed off at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know where the disconnect is, but there's something wrong here. And so I wouldn't be surprised by anything. I'm just, I'm speaking from a hypothetical. I know that Carson Wentz is pissed. He should be pissed. He got benched, and this team's been horrible. So I'm just hopeful that these guys can duke it out and we find the best one. But someone mentioned that Jalen Hurts might have a bad game. Now, imagine if that happens. We're going to be talking on the post game. Everybody, Hurts is the worst ever. Carson Wentz is staying. So, I mean, holy hell. We know how this goes, guys.
Yeah, it can flip-flop in an instant in this city, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it like right when the draft happened, and we knew that Jalen Hurts was going to be on this roster. I personally thought that kind of started the expiration clock for Carson Wentz's time here, or it just set up expiration dates for everyone, Doug, Howie, everyone in the whole situation, because if you're going to make a draft pick like that after Wentz won the 4 games, I don't understand that people are like, well, it was like a bad 4 opponents. He still won 4 games in a row at the end of the year, and with practice squad players. Like, that's why you pay him, and that's the type of play that Carson Wentz, like, we're used to seeing. That's the weird thing when people act like Carson Wentz has been bad, this bad his whole career, and people are like, oh, he only did 2017. Like, if you just look at the numbers, like, they speak for themselves, and there's a reason why he got paid that much, and there's a reason why some of the top players around the league covet him and respect him so much. That's why I feel like that's why he's such a hot topic, because it really stands out that this is one of the worst aggressions ever for a quarterback. And this is one of those discussions where you can't be lazy on like all the narratives and all the subjects surrounding everything, because you can acknowledge that Howie, yes, made moves to try to improve the football team around Carson Wentz. Were they good moves? No, but moves were made. Did Carson Wentz miss easy reads in pass, and especially this year? Absolutely. Because does he have the best people out there making the plays? He's running routes are rookies and practice squad guys who might not have the timing together. And then you hear reports that practices are lazy, not clean, and all that kind of stuff. You have a kicker that the team clearly doesn't trust right now, and he doesn't even trust himself. I mean, the thing with beating the Saints and Jalen Hurts is, you've seen it before in the NFL when a backup comes in and they rally around the guy, because not only do they want to step up for that player, they want to step up for themselves. Like, the defense wants to show, like, yo, like, we're not bad. Like, this guy Wentz was putting us in bad positions in short fields, and we're on the field all the time. Like, we're a really good defense, and like, we can beat a team like the Saints. Having said that, Taysom Hill was holding the ball a lot, and that helped guys like Josh Sweat really get home. I really think that there's pieces on this team, but it's just a weird situation to be in. I mean, Wentz's contract, and it's just unfortunate that we're getting here. But we have a really good opportunity today and the next 2 games against NFC East opponents just to see what Hurts has.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back to some of your points, I really do think, I mean, like, you can't, like, sit here. I've seen enough quarterbacks in Philly play bad and be benched. And, like, if you play bad, if he played average this year, we wouldn't even be here. So The fact that he was turning the ball over at a high rate, like, it's unacceptable. Like, and the fact that players in the locker room are feeling a certain way when you're talking about accountability factors, any football team that you play for. So one guy is, like, fucking up week after week, and the coaches and, the front office isn't doing anything about it, and players outside the quarterback position start looking around and start pointing fingers and like, yo, like, if we're holding people accountable, this is what it is. And the quarterback position at the end of the day gets all the heat. It is. And, like, there's been so much, like, I see so many people on the timeline are so like offended and like it happens. Like it happens. This is life. Like nothing is perfect, and it is what it is. And as the football team every week has to move forward. And if they can't move forward right now with Carson, that's what it is. And I think it's like I said like weeks ago, it's going to get each week it's going to get worse and worse. The reality show is now in full gear, guys.
Yeah,
we're here.
And that's what I was just about to bring up, because you talk about how the timeline has been an absolute shambles, and it has been this year. Everybody's at each other's throats with their own opinions about the team. But I think that one thing that is really telling is just about all of these stories that are starting to leak out of the organization. I think that speaks very strongly to just how much chaos is going on with inside those walls. Like these, it feels like we talked about it at the very top of the show. It feels like on game day, every single game day, we got some crazy story coming out, or just throughout the week. Like there is so much juicy drama that this organization is just propelling each and every week that, man, like it's somewhat embarrassing. Feels like a reality show.
Well, I mean, when you realize bad things are happening, you know that the media is going to grab it, even if they're going to run with it and they're going to shove it down your throat. So we had a little bit of positivity last week. They cannot have that. So they had to find something. They had to dig. And look, I don't always hold on to the media's word as, this golden grail where it's like, oh, well, this has to happen now. Look, I get it. They hate it. They want us to suffer. And we've been through it all damn year. I think what we're overlooking is the fact that everybody around Carson Wentz sucked, dude. Mm-hmm. The offensive line, 13 different lines in 14 games. Talking about young receivers that Chris just mentioned, practice squad guys, rookies. There's no connection between he and Carson yet. And look, Ertz has been out, whether or not he struggled or not. There are so many factors. We never ran the ball till last week. We decided to start running. So, I mean, I'm not saying Carson Wentz didn't suck. We talk about it every week. Holy hell was he sucking it up. But I've seen people like Peyton Manning, Brett Favre have bad years. And I really just think that there's going to be a competition because they created it. I just don't think Carson Wentz is gone now. It's all over. We got to see what Jalen Hurts does these next few weeks. I'm going to keep coming back to that. I really want to see what he's got.
For sure.
Puga says, I am also beginning to believe that maybe Carson is changing the play call at the line of scrimmage. It's a huge problem for Doug. I mean, something's really up. At the end of it just hasn't felt right all year. The fact that you talked about dialing back things for Carson, when you go back and watch the film, you're just like, whoa! It gets worse. When you go watch it in slow mo, and you're just like, dude, you watch his feet and you watch his mechanics, and you're like, so I mean, obviously there's something wrong. We have a resident Cowboy fan here saying, "Hey, fellas, he likes the chaos." Shout out to Primes, bro, in the building. Yeah, man, I think, if there's something I want to see from today, I probably have to say if the team rallies today out of all days, they rally around each other. I mean, that's at least something we can pray for today. Like, because you're seeing, like, all this drama right now hitting. Like, what does that got to be like for a locker room? Like, you're walking out of the tunnel and you're like Hurts and Wentz is behind you and you're breaking down the team together. Are you like, word? Like, what are the vibes like? So if they can rally around each other, that'd be great. But going around the room and in the chat, I'd like to hear what if one thing that you like to see from today, positive, on a positive note.
I mean, mainly, I just want to see Doug continue the same trends. Get Jalen moving. Especially with Driscoll being out. I mean, that's the one thing, like the major factor that I think really hurt Wentz was that they kept on trying to play JP. They kept trying to play Pryor more. I mean, we saw the line looked unbelievable last week, and you saw that Hurts didn't get sacked. I would say 90% of that was just purely him just being an absolute playmaker. Hurts manufactures a lot of plays on his own just with his legs, and I feel like without Driscoll there, and we're gonna have Pryor out there, who I don't think is very good at all. I feel like you kind of want to maybe throw Ertz on that side where Pryor is, and just have him leak out and just dump on the ball out fast, chip block. I mean, you gotta make sure that Hurts has as much help as possible. But the big thing, run Miles. Miles Sanders, he's the heart of the team, whether people want to admit it or not. When he has those big plays, which a lot of running backs aren't even capable of doing, it really makes a difference. And you want to have your offensive line moving forward, and it takes the ball out of Hurts' hands when he has a guy like Hassan Reddick who had 5 sacks last week, breathing down his neck all night today.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So for me, I want to see the defense step up. So as much as we talk about Jalen Hurts and the offense stepping up and the offensive line playing better like they did last week, I want to see the defense step up because they are down 2 veteran guys. So you have Rodney McLeod, who's out for the year, and you have Darius Slay, who's out with the concussion-like symptoms, who didn't travel with the team this week. So you have a lot of young guys who have the opportunity to step up this week. I know Kayvon Wallace is getting his first start of the year, and then you're going to have a kind of like throw together secondary at that with Devontae Maddox hurt as well. So, yeah, I want to see the guys up front, that front 7, create a lot of pressure with Kyler and keep him in the pocket, keep him contained, and hopefully our secondary can step up for Hurts and the offense as well.
I guess Tim's talking to the fact that if the team rallies around Jalen Hurts, if that happens, who gets credit, Doug or Jalen?
I think it's a little bit of both. The crazy thing is, why can't Doug and Just do this? They're 2 completely different quarterbacks. So the positive I want to see, and to answer that question, I want to see both of these guys working together well again. We talked about the exciting energy of having these guys. We didn't know what Jalen Hurts could do. We knew what Carson Wentz was going to do and probably get destroyed. So Jalen Hurts came out, played great. I saw somebody say that, it wasn't a big deal. He didn't have that great of a game. What was it, 167 passing yards, 105 rushing with whatever the kneeling down and stuff. I really think that, it was the Saints defense, and you have to look at that. You have to see that it was a great defense, and the kid was starting his first game. I think he did really well. Keep that up. Someone mentioned running the ball. Run the ball. This secondary is beat up. Michael Jacquet getting a first start. I was intrigued by him in the offseason. Really needs to step it up against this team. Holy hell. But the front 4, we need that defensive line. That's if they keep getting after the quarterback, staying in their lane, containment of Kyler Murray, which is going to be hard, stop the run. I think we have a chance here, guys. Their defense isn't as good. So I want to see, they've got Isaiah Simmons, Jordan Hicks. They've got Buda Baker there. Patrick Peterson's getting a little older, but I think we can put up points. The 13 personnel I talked about, you see Goddard there. Richard Rodgers even with Ertz. So, dude, let's go. Let's get this offense rolling. I'm pumped up. I hate that this trash news had to come out because I just want to get pumped. And we asked for some energy last week, and we finally got it. Some accountability. It's getting driven, dude. So let's go.
Hey, Jimmy, don't get upset yet, because we might still see that energy today. We might still see it out there. And if it's provided by Jalen Hurts, then so be it. To answer Timothy's question, I would say that I agree with Jimmy. It falls in both Jalen and Doug's court of, they would get to reap the benefits and the credit of that. I think that one thing that has been talked about this entire year is how Carson Wentz and, Doug Peterson's game plan obviously doesn't gel well together. I think Carson Wentz has been trying to do his own thing out there and drifting away from Doug's game plan. I think when Jalen played last week, I actually liked the game plan that was provided for him. So if I can continue to see another good game plan for Jalen Hurts, if we can get that ball running, like you guys have been saying, and I want to go into next offseason with as few holes as possible. The quarterback position is a huge hole, no doubt, if we need to fill that position. But if we can start to feel more confident about Doug Peterson and get that trust back in him, that's one less thing we're going to have to worry about this offseason. So I'm looking for the continued chemistry and progression of Jalen and just a competent game plan today.
Now, Mark says, when the team shut down Hurts running, then what? I think that's going to be the most interesting parts to watch, where Hurts' game elevates or if it's a stalemate. Because if you get an opportunity to see him progress and he's like, yo, I got something for you. Like if he, and that's where you're like, oh shit, we got real deal here. Like if he lays a serious egg then today, then everyone's gonna be like, all right, well, Carson, we're sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Might be.
And we get tagged on Twitter. My favorite.
This is go, Gail. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I said this is why it's really good that we get to see evaluate Jalen Hurts at the end of the season here, because obviously Jalen Hurts is his own player, but when you draft a guy in the second, when you already had a guy locked up for all this money, you want to find out, like, do I have Russell Wilson, or do I have like RG3? You know what I mean? Like you're trying to figure out, like, what do you have? Do you have like a flash in the pan, or do you have a guy that's going to provide stability and financial relief for this team for a while? Because you don't draft a guy in the second round and expect him to sit on the bench as long as Jalen did. But our circumstances weren't the same because we had Carson Wentz there. So it's just good to get 3 more games of Jalen on tape and evaluate him. That being said, there's now a game and a half of Jalen Hurts, so let's see how Arizona game plans for him if they maybe saw something that like we saw when we were looking at tape ourselves.
Yeah.
Now, more was talking about the PFF grade that Daz had provided. Shout out to Daz. They gave him a 49 grade. Moore said, I also was impressed with Hurts' first start. Felt the same, but I'm glad it was enough for the team to win. I mean, I think, like I was making this on our last video, like me and Chris did. I made mention to, like, if one of us walks to our job on the first day of work, do people think you're expected to be an all-star, or they just want to see if you fit in, if you're the right fit on the first day? You look the part. You're speaking the right conversation. Like, the vibe is right. He's a rookie in his first game starting, not making too many mistakes, using his legs.
Think about Carson's first year.
Yeah, well, I mean, he had a solid, decent game, but like, again, people keep taking away from the fact that the legs are part of his game. Like, that's a part of his game. Like, so if you take away the 106 yards rushing, which is the second most yards in a single game by a quarterback this season, and put that towards passing, would that make you feel better about the situation, or the fact that it is what it is? I mean, moving forward, you got to just like.
I mean, I think if any team, if the Cardinals, anybody was able to contain Jalen Hurts and stop him on the run, but he was able to get it done in the passing game, I think everybody would feel really confident, because that would just show just how versatile he is. If he's able to get the ball down the field, regardless of how it's done, then I think a lot of people are feeling way more confident.
I think we talked about this all week. The fact is, everybody says, oh, what if they're going to figure him out? And what? So every single mobile quarterback is the same person and they can't progress. I mean, I'm watching Russell Wilson tear it up. So why can't this kid get better? We're talking about hypotheticals here, and we talk about, what if he fails? But what if he does really, really well again? And we're like, holy hell, like, this kid can throw. If they do have spies on him, if Isaiah Simmons or Jordan Hicks, whatever they're doing, you got to. I'm hoping for the best. I just want this team to win. And for the future, whatever it holds, dude, I think it's better if this kid succeeds. You see people playing harder. Sure, Matt Pryor out is going to be an issue, but, 0 sacks allowed because of that dude's feet again. And you mentioned a 100-yard rusher. They hadn't allowed one in 55 games. We had a running back and a quarterback do that because of the fact Jalen Hurts was in there. I love what he brings to the table.
And a lot of those runs are like, he's the first, second read's not there. He's decisive about what he's seeing and takes off. And he has that ability. Like that 4.5 shows up. Like, it's not like it shows up. Like, and the fact that he's, that play, they had about 4 verticals. I mean, the funny thing is, like, everything I've kind of like talked about Hurts in the past, now seeing it show up, it's like, all right, well, he's actually doing what I thought he might do. And then I'm like, well, all right. Now I want to see where he gets. If he starts hitting checkdowns when the blitz comes, and he's handling the blitz well, the RPOs look like he's taking advantage of the hang defender, and he comes down and he hits Ertz on the slant. You're like, all right, I see what you're doing. Like, if he's continuously doing that, like, come on, man. Like, if we're gonna say that, just going back to that comment by Moore, like, you weren't impressed by this play right here. Like, I mean, you you have to like. I mean, the pressure is in his face, bruh. Like, I mean, and he didn't flinch.
And he gets
They
smoked.
sent the house, man.
Back
I think
shoulder.
people put blinders on because they want Carson to succeed. I don't think the two things have to, relate.
I mean, look right here, the pressure. Like look at him not flinch. Like if you're not impressed with that, I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets smacked on this play too. Just eats it.
You gotta be. I mean, that's just a little. It's a little thing. I'm not asking for like. I'm not trying to like.
But like, look at
now.
his feet though, man. Look at his feet. What have we been seeing from Carson all year long? It's been the happy feet, and he's just not being able to set himself, even when he has the time to do so. And I think that Jalen Hurts is showing that confidence in that pocket. I mean, everybody wants to talk about him as that stereotypical running quarterback, and say that that's the only way he can get it done. That looks like pocket confidence to me. I mean, and especially with an offensive line, he knows that has some holes in it.
I mean, that's
be honest
right now too. So
let's be honest. The big run, the 73-yard run by Miles, that was a read option play. You saw Cam Jordan completely stop off the edge. He's unblocked coming off the edge. If he takes that himself, he's getting smacked. He completely came to a standstill. So our blockers were able to get down the field, and boom, there goes Miles straight through the hole. But that's something that you don't have with Carson. I'm not saying he's not athletic, but he's more of a 4'7" type of quarterback.
I think he's more dad bod. He's about like 4'9", 4'8",
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
4'8", 9.
So I mean, you're talking about a dual threat quarterback and how the play calling changed and everything else like that. For Jalen, of course it's going to change. It opens up the playbook whenever you have the ability that Jalen Hurts has to move the pocket and break the pocket and run whenever he can, because he does have that speed. I mean, I'm obviously not saying that I think Jalen is a better quarterback right now. I think Carson is the better quarterback right now. I just think that they made the right decision to put in that spark plug and go ahead and get this offense moving differently rather than doing it through the air like they were attempting to do with Carson.
Like it's funny, like going back to what you're saying about spark plug. Like at first, when I look at spark plug, I think like a couple series, a couple drives, add that spark. Like we're on now. We won a game against a solid team. I think he outperformed what I thought he was going to do. I mean, he did what I wanted him to do, but did I actually think he was going to actually get that done and look so, I'd say, smooth with it. I didn't expect him to do it like that. But looking at Austin's question here, he says, will Hurts struggle if he is forced to stay in the pocket? I think that's the biggest question of the day. But, again, like, is he going to, with his legs, is he going to get forced to stay in the pocket? That's the question. Like Brian says, how does Hurts scrambling for a lot of rushes make a good game plan?
I mean, if they're designed QB runs and he's getting first downs with them, I would say that's part of a good game plan.
Yeah.
And let's
when
be
you win
honest
the game.
here, that mobility is a Band-Aid for a bad offensive line right now that's injured.
Yeah, man. That's exactly. You got to have Doug using him correctly. Help the kid out. It was his first start, so he's rolling him out like, Soko just said. You got to know that your offensive line's banged up. I don't know why Doug didn't do any of these things for Carson with all these issues happening. I don't care at this point because it's just like, holy hell. But he did it last week. I love what Evan said on the show about keep it simple, stupid. And I think he won't have to simplify it as much in his second start, maybe open up some things a little bit. Because, like you said, figuring him out, defenses have more tape, so you can't do the same thing. And I think Doug knows that. And I know everybody hates Doug for the most, not everybody, but people are hating. He's gone. He's got to, it's like, dude, holy hell. So maybe he pulls some magic out today, and we're talking about the old cojones again. I'd love to see that today.
Like, I'm just thinking about this, the game plan, right? I think all he has to do is hit if you overthink this, right? Like you're thinking about his play wasn't crazy. It was dynamic, but like I'm saying, in the passing attack, it wasn't like, he did miss a shot down to Rager. So if you think about it as a whole, if this offense didn't even have to be dynamic and just be basic and not turn the ball over, just imagine if we were flourishing, how many wins we would have had. Like, is this all it takes to have a solid running game? Miles Sanders is dialed up nicely. I mean, the fact that, this is like, it makes you have a running back who is on fire and, breaking long runs. It's keeping it simple, stupid, like you're saying,
Yeah.
Running the football, protecting the football, keeping your opponent's offense on the side of the field, sustaining long drives. Hopefully your kicker makes those kicks. You're getting points, not turning the football over. That's a recipe for success, and you can win games like that as long as your defense plays well. We finally found some offensive, some movement, and then the football gods decimate our secondary.
And our offensive line. You know that I was begging for Urbig and Driscoll to be over there starting since the bye week. I was so excited, and now Driscoll's out for the season. Like, holy.
Yeah. So like what, we knew that the offensive line wasn't in the best shape last week. How much is your level of concern raised when Matt Pryor is going to be the starting right tackle?
I touched on it a little bit earlier. I mean, I don't think that Pryor is very good. Having said that, I think that we saw Doug play a play call a lot better and really use his team strengths. And I was saying earlier, like, make your disadvantages an advantage for you. Like, if Pryor is going to let up pressure on that side, let them come. Use that to an advantage. Dump it off to Goddard or Miles right behind that D end. Like, you need to understand that, like, if Pryor isn't going to be blocking, it's like, use that to an advantage. Roll Hurts away from him. Set up plays on that side. Use their aggressiveness to your advantage, because that's how you're going to win a game here, because Hassan Reddick is on fire, and then you have a guy like Budda Baker, who's the Cardinals version of Tyrann Mathieu on Kansas City, and like Jamal Adams on Seattle. This is a guy that he gets sacks. He's going to blitz a lot. He's really hard to block because he's a small, fast dude that's just going to come screaming off the edge, kind of like Dawkins, if you can imagine. I mean, the thing that concerns me is communication. I feel like the communication with the line's really good when Herbig, Driscoll, Kelsey, Sayamalu, and Mailata are out there. Mailata, the left side's completely fine. I never worry about it when it's Mailata and Sayamalu. And Kelsey's he's the chief and commander right in the middle. The big thing's always been the right side. So, like I said, use your disadvantage to your advantage with Pryor, because Pryor's going to be getting shelled by pressure. And they know that too. The Cardinals are going to be sending two people. They're going to be sending stunts. So you got to make sure that you can play off of that, Doug.
And that 13 personnel we talked about, right? I think all of us have spoke about that. And that'd be a great mismatch, I think, where you don't know if we're running. We don't know if we're getting it. Good luck at a smaller corner covering one of our tight ends or linebacker. So I'm intrigued. Great stuff, Chris.
No,
I like Daz's question right there. And kind of just to go off of it is, like, I don't really feel like the team plays better. I do think that the defense did step up, to be honest with you. I think it was kind of a wake-up call for the defensive side of the field. I think, if Wentz can get benched, if your $100 million man can get benched, then anybody can get benched, and that was kind of a wake-up call to them. But I don't think it was so much the offense playing better as Jalen Hurts just kind of having a little bit more playmaking ability, a little more shiftiness with his feet, other than Carson. Because if you see Carson, he's out there running like a baby deer. Jalen Hurts is gliding, 30, 40 yards at a time. Like, and that's the thing is, like, we as fans it's in our DNA to compare these two quarterbacks when realistically they're not comparable. They're not the same quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a mobile playmaker, whereas Carson Wentz, after the injury, has been more of the pocket passer. I understand that prior to the injury, he liked to roll out of the pocket and take the ball himself and everything else like that. But Carson Wentz has never been the guy to get a designed QB draw called in a game for him. And if it has, it's been the wrong call. So, I mean, as much as we want to say, yeah, the team rallies around other quarterbacks, the team's getting the message that anybody can be benched and anybody can be cut right now.
I mean, I kind of agree and I kind of disagree in the sense that I'm not entirely sure that the team is playing differently with Hurts out there than they are with Wentz. But I think that Wentz simply, like, his inaccuracy this year has just like led to these players not having the opportunities. If you're missing on balls, if you're sailing balls, if you're causing turnovers and just missing all over the place, these players don't have the opportunity to get the ball in their hands and actually make something with it. I think that Jalen Hurts, in the very, very, very small sample size that we have seen, I think he's shown some solid accuracy in his passes. I will definitely say, though, that he doesn't have the same arm strength that Carson Wentz has. So that's something that we need to weigh against one another. But his accuracy seems to be all right. So I think that just him being able to, we talked about him missing that one ball with Jalen Reagor, but I mean, it hit him on the hands. He just missed it. I think these are the types of plays that once they're working on their chemistry, they're working on their timing. Those are the types of plays that they will connect on in the future.
Like I think any football team that I've ever played on, like even like in college, I went through a number of QB changes. A QB change is such a huge deal. And if you have two different playing styles, if you have two different personalities, your team starts to take on the personality of the quarterback. If you have this gunslinger mentality and guys just willing you guys to victories, you kind of like it boosts the energy. Like, and I feel like Jalen kind of represents that, like, coach speak. He lives in that whole, cliche, like what I think he lives at. And I feel like the team is really vibing off of like doing their job, not making mistakes, like just playing as one. And like if practice, like again, like you start thinking hearing these things about what practice has looked like. If they're vibing in practice and you can get a back shoulder fade that looks like that from Alshon in your first start, and they were talking about how good practices look, and you're like, okay, then maybe there's something going on. Like you have to think, like, I've seen this team long enough there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know. I'm still trying to dig. Believe me, I'm asking.
Practice? We talk about practice, man.
Go, Jimmy. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I might sound crazy every week I come on asking for energy. Like, I just want this team to play with some heart, but it's like energy truly matters. And if a guy's getting slaughtered out there, 50 sacks, second and quarterback hits, like 20, look, he's getting killed out there. His energy's low. It's not good. He's not rallying people. We're seeing that lack of maybe leadership, not just his play. So when a kid can come in, he's excited, because he wants to win a job. Exactly. Doing too much. I think we're simplifying things. Jalen Hurts came in, brought that energy. And, one of the things we loved about Carson Wentz the last few years was his escapability and his ability to get people open when they probably weren't getting open in the, beginning of the play. So it's like Jalen Hurts does that and more because he can actually, like Gail said, the dude just glides. I mean, holy hell. But that adds something so magical. And I think they're going to focus on that so much today that I think we're going to get a chance to see him throw the ball. We talked about those tight ends. I think even Reagor. I'd love to see some fold-them action, but hey, we'll see.
I mean, here's the first play of Jalen Hurts last week. Reads up there, takes it, just effortlessly kind of got that first down. Sees the open space and just takes off, bro. Like
he knows he has the speed to beat those guys to the edge.
He made that receiver in the middle.
Made that shit look really easy, and I feel like again they're going to start. We saw them bring some plays back from his Oklahoma days. Obviously the mesh concept is something we eat off of, and he ran that smoothly. Jalen Reagor finally. We've been asking for crossing routes for how long? To Reagor?
The entire year. The entire
year. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't think anyone can sit there and say that the offense didn't look different. I think that you can say 50% of that is absolutely Jalen Hurts and him allowing Doug to open up the playbook. But a lot of it is Doug was running different plays. I mean, you saw what Ron Jaworski said. He was like, they were pulling plays from Oklahoma that Jalen was comfortable with. When Nick Foles came in relief for Carson Wentz both times, they were pulling plays that Nick Foles was comfortable with. And it's just bizarre, though, because, like, I know, like, people want to be like, oh, well, Carson could just audible. It's like, well, if the personnel isn't out there, it goes, and then you can't do that. And, like, I feel like they just, like, Carson was just in his own head. and he just couldn't get out of his own way most of the time because the play calls and like everything that we had going on, it just didn't look right. It never felt right, and it just hasn't been the same. I mean, it's pretty amazing that Carson has the stats that he does since he came to the league. And I think that's why this year just seems like an extreme outlier because he's not a guy that throws a lot of interceptions. I mean, he's up with like crazy company. There's a stat here, and it was Carson Wentz's 607 pass attempts. This is in 2019, are the fourth most ever by a quarterback throwing 7 or less interceptions. The only other ones are Brady, Rodgers twice, and Matt Ryan, and they were the ones who threw a couple more pass attempts with 7 or less interceptions. That's why like it's so weird. Like Carson Wentz isn't a guy that throws interceptions. You can knock him on the fumbles, of course. That's something that John Gruden even knocked him when he was coming out of college, saying he needs to be a two-handed monster and hold on to the ball a little bit better. That's something that he still has to work on. But interceptions, like that's why this year is so crazy because he was starting the ball. He was just dumb decisions. I mean, we saw an interception in Washington completely derail one of the best starts I've ever seen an Eagles quarterback have. I mean, he came out firing against Washington week 1, and then as soon as he threw the first interception, it like spiraled down to exactly where we are now.
Yep.
Yeah. I think, you saw somebody was a little offended in the comments there. I think the thing is, we're talking about how well Carson Wentz, has been in years prior. I think you might have missed that. But the fact is he was bad this year. The whole offensive line, we talked about receivers, running backs, all that great stuff. Now, the thing is, you're allowed to talk about how well or how bad Jalen Hurts is doing. These things, I know a lot of people get upset about it. You can't like Jalen Hurts. You have to pick. Look, we're Eagles fans, man. We're going to talk about all of it.
I smell a Carson Wentz stan in the comment section. I mean, and it's okay. You could be a Carson Wentz stan all you want, but like, let's face the brass facts here. Like, what has Carson done this year that gives you this confidence that you're coming into the comment section with? What have you seen?
I mean, the play we're talking about is like that's a rookie in his first game. We're going back to. If you go back to other plays from this season, you see some of the happy feet. You see him feel uncomfortable. When you can watch Carson and know that he's uncomfortable, I'm telling you, I've been watching him since his first preseason snap live. I knew when he tore his ACL. I knew because the way I'm watching this dude so much that now I can see him think on the field. Like it's alarming. Like you think I want to be talking about Hurts right now? Like I thought Wentz was going to be here. I thought we were going to be on some. I thought preseason. I said Wentz is going to have his best season yet, and we're here. We're now talking about possible restructuring of his contract, and Wentz not being here. We're talking about Wentz having a vibe. Adam Schefter is talking about Wentz not wanting to be here. Like this is where we're at. Like
sometimes plans don't go to plan.
And can we stop this nonsense about we want Carson Wentz gone? Nobody wants Carson Wentz gone. We want him fixed. We want him to be the quarterback that we've seen in years past. We hold him to such high accountability because we know that he has MVP capability in him. And that's it. No, not a single person in this room right now wants to be talking about a quarterback controversy on the Philadelphia Eagles in the 2021 season. Not one of us. We all hope for success for our quarterback, but at the end of the day, we root for the Eagles. We don't root just for Carson Wentz. If Jalen Hurts gives us a better opportunity to win, that's who we're going to root for, period.
Yep. Hoping to learn a lot today. I want to see a lot from all the young guys, So we talked about letting some of the younger guys get time. Why couldn't it be Jalen Hurts getting that time? When we drafted him, we're like, what the hell is this? Well, we're finding out right now, trying to look at the positives of it. Nobody, Soka just said it. Gail said it. Everybody said it. Dude, nobody wants to be here. We came into this season with super high hopes. I was very excited about this year, needed it in 2020, and it has been the complete opposite. It's been hell. So nobody wants this, man. We're just talking about the things that need to be talked about.
I mean, things that need to be talked about are these RPOs. Now, RPOs worked with Nick Foles, and it was something that really Wentz didn't like to do. And if Doug is all about the RPOs, this is another part of his offense that is alive and well. And
something that fits Jalen.
I mean, you're talking about you can run triple option. You have a run, built-in screen, and a quarterback who can take off and run with it, adds another element. And I think if Doug is like, again, if we're thinking about Doug's career, and he's making the decisions on who's the starting quarterback for his career, like even our head coach is making the decision on, or the fact that maybe it's Howie who's pulling the strings, who wants to see his guy. But again, everything is weird here, and if they catch another dub today, it'll be weird in a good way. It'll be really weird in a good way.
It's going to get louder.
You feeling that new quarterback energy again, Gail? Because I know Evan, we were talking last night, dude.
NQE's flowing.
Again, you can sit here and that's what our fan base is now. Like, right, you go on social medias, it's like Wentz stands versus Hurt stands versus, and then the Eagle fans who are just like,
it's a real civil war in the city right now.
Like, I just root for who's ever under the court, under center. That's who I root for. And again, like I have my Wentz jersey here, but I don't know how long I really don't know how long I'm going to be able to wear this Wentz jersey anymore.
That's going to be as relevant as my Sidney Jones jersey before too long.
and just for that, just for that comment, I'm going to put on my Wentz jersey so it makes you feel better about yourself, and that I also have love for Wentz.
We're all about the fans here.
I might have to grab mine now.
And listen to this. I haven't watched this since the Super Bowl run. This has been worn to the parade. It smells really bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this just for you guys.
Wow.
Keep the good juju going.
Yeah, he's going to suffer in his own stench just for the comments section. That's commitment right there. If I'm being real.
Dedication, baby.
But like even Gail putting up with that smell, I don't think we can look over the fact that this relationship between Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz just seemed broken. And I don't know when exactly that disconnect happened, but it seems very apparent that it did. And I don't know, do you guys think that this is a relationship that can be mended at this point? Or is this like, it doesn't feel like anything that we can come, I feel like we've gone too far, if that makes any sense.
I hear you, and I hear what Chris Long was saying too. And I'm not sure what's going on exactly, and that's why it's so hard to really gauge, what I feel is going to happen. Because is there really this bad of a disconnect? And they're good at lying straight to our face. So, hey, maybe it is. I don't think that this is good. So I think you're right, Evan, that there is a disconnect, and I think that it could be worse than we thought. And I don't know if it is mendable. If that's the case, that's my biggest concern.
How about Michael Leroy Wright with the best Ivy I've ever seen. That is professional.
That is strong.
That is a strong presence. That
looks like Steve Harvey is trying to be Michael Leroy Wright.
Swaggy. I like that.
I like it.
Hey, how you like the jersey?
He looked fly.
Love it.
Who was that really smelly kid from Peanuts? Always had the stench flying over top of him.
That's how I feel.
Pigpen.
I smell. I can smell it. You might as well put on your jersey, Chris.
Is that 24 karat gold?
The Super Bowl.
24.
Dude, I still think this is one of the greatest stories. I can't even orient this the right way. That it was a misprinted Wentz jersey that had Super Bowl, so everyone thought it was cursed, and I got it before the 2017 season.
Oh wow!
That's a flex.
Wow.
I got him to sign it at the softball game.
Oh, another flex.
You were there, Gail.
I know. Like I saw Chris. Like that's when I know. That's when I knew Chris was like a real one. Like when we went to the Audience of One event. Watch him work to get that jersey. The amount of people he stiff armed.
No kids were harmed. Don't worry.
Worked his way all the way up to the front. That was great. Look at this comment by Xavier. It says, "Why does everyone think Hurts can't throw? He threw 32 touchdowns and had 70% last year. He can be a check down king as long as he's not losing yards and turning the ball over. He'll be fine." And
I agree with you. I think everybody in this room agrees with you. If you look at the past, yeah, you're 100% right. But we're not talking about the past. We're talking about this year. What have you seen this year that he's not turning the ball over? I get that he's had great previous seasons, but like you can't just overlook everything that's happened this year. You can't just ignore it and hope that it's going to fix itself. Problems usually don't fix themselves.
I think Xavier was talking about. I thought he was talking about Hurts there on that one.
Well, I apologize then, Xavier.
Yeah, I think what he was saying was, why does everyone think he can't throw? And I agree with him. We talked about that earlier in the video, right? Like, why are we saying this kid isn't capable of it? He said it in his comments: 70% accuracy, 32 touchdowns last year. Sure, that's college, but look, dude, this kid has played in NFL style offenses throughout his college career, and I think that. Give him another chance before we just write him off. And same goes for the people, crowning him the king already. It's like, let's see what we got in the next few games, guys.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is the infatuation in the league with dual threat quarterbacks.
Yes.
Everybody's so infatuated with the ability to run and pass that people often overlook the passing ability of those rushing quarterbacks, in favor of their rushing because they're so enamored by their ability to be so athletic as a quarterback as well.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, to touch on Xavier's point, like I do want to go back and just say I agree with you in the fact that when we saw even before Jalen Hurts was starting, even before he was brought in to end that Packers game, like the conversation was he'd play 1 to 2 plays a game, sometimes a little bit more. And the conversation was always, well, it's very clear that Jalen Hurts just isn't ready. He isn't ready. And I that was in the back of my mind, too. I was like, what is so clear that he isn't ready? I mean, we haven't seen enough of him to make that judgment yet. Yeah. So I agree with you. I 100% agree that, like, all these people that are saying that, he's clearly not a good passer. He's clearly this. He's clearly that. You don't have the tape to make a determination one way or the other.
Yeah, throwing him into the fire isn't the same as starting.
No.
I need to address this. Like, who admitted to playing harder for the backup? Please drop me the link because I would love to see a player admit that they're half-assing it on the field. I promise you I'd love to because they would absolutely not be on the field if that ever came out in an article.
Exactly, because everyone says, oh, they're going to lose. We're going to, lose out. What? And we talk about this every week. No NFL player is coming to the game like, all right, guys, let's go out there and get our ass kicked today. That's just not how it is.
Matt, do you honestly, I'm just asking, do you think that this locker room is trying to sabotage against Wentz? Do you think that is a higher chance of happening or just the fact that Carson regressed?
I think it's the energy, man.
This is definitely a regression period. There's no wide receiver out there who's going to give up, and there's no player in the NFL who's going to give up their own money just to make a quarterback look bad. Because when the quarterback looks good, the O-line looks good, and the receivers look good, and the running back looks good, then everybody gets paid.
That's what I'm saying. It's about money. It's like, yo, if someone comes in, you're like, yo, you are fucking up my money right now. Like, if I'm in a contract year, I need production. So right now, whatever you're doing, I mean, players do that stuff. They're just like, dude, you're fucking with my money. Like, look at a rookie and like, yo, don't be messing. Like, my food is on the table right now. So for him to It's a very players get offended when they play bad because it's
look at Nelson Aguilar, the king of drops in Philadelphia. He made $9.4 million on his fifth year option this year. He's playing on a vet minimum contract right now because he couldn't get his drops under control.
Yo, guys, the inactives just came out for the Eagles. Darius Slay inactive, JJR Umbrella Whiteside. Of course, something just came up on. I'm sorry. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside's inactive. Nate Sudfeld, quarterback factor, is inactive. Jason Huntley is inactive. Braylon Arnold is inactive. That's kind of weird. John Hightower is inactive. And then Tim McManus is saying that Nicole Roby-Coleman and Kevin Seymour are going to start outside. So they're not going to put Mills outside. And then Michael Jacquet is going to rotate with them.
Thank God.
Okay, so hold on. So we've been talking about the quarterback situation this entire show for the most part. I think it's time after that report comes out, we address what's going to be happening between the wide receivers on the Cardinals and our DBs because we're gonna need to score some points to keep up today, boys.
Correct.
NRC can't handle the slot, let alone running outside. Like, he considers himself slot god. Literally, that's his handle on Twitter, and he's starting outside for us. I'd rather have Jalen Mills out there playing outside.
Yeah. I mean, going up against the guy Like
It's Epps, right?
DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. Jesus
Like,
Christ.
at least Mills will have the physicality aspect of it. Like NRC, I don't know that I've seen him put hands on a slot receiver all year.
I think Larry Fitzgerald will always be balling.
That's my man.
Dude is just legit. I've wanted this guy forever in my lifetime. It's never gonna happen.
He's honestly, if I'm being real, take this game out of it, he's probably my favorite non-Eagle in the league. Currently in there.
Who's that? Fitz?
Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, I'm
Dude,
big time Larry Fitzgerald.
Growing up watching Chris Carter, his dad being a Vikings, wide receivers coach, that dude learned how to catch from Chris Carter. Like, oh my God. So I was always enamored until the time he beat the living hell out of us in the NFC Championship. I was like, all right, I hate you. But no, I got mad respect for that dude. He is. I still can't believe he's playing.
And you didn't see Larry Fitzgerald going out there and throwing games when Jake Skelton was throwing him the ball, did you?
Or Carson Palmer.
Kevin Kolb.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't see any of that happen. The guy was always a team player. He was always trying to do the best for his team.
Well, Jeffrey, we need our front four.
So I do see another comment, something we haven't addressed. Can we talk about what a slam dunk John Dorsey is as a consultant to Howie Roseman?
I mean, we already have like future. We do have a future scene in the 2021 War Room here.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't. It's no hassle. But all I'm saying, they're gonna get a. I'm just. Knock, knock. Who's there? Look, let me tell you a little story about a man named Even before you start, that was a preemptive shh. Just know I have a whole bag of shh with your name on it.
Someone who's going to keep Howie in check, baby.
I'm praying John Dorsey has that energy in the War Room.
But that's the thing.
Is that weird that story came out? Like the fact that who put that story out there?
That was
no, I mean
it was Mike Garafolo.
But who gave it to him?
Yeah, no, and that goes to my point of what I was saying, that like the chaos that this team has been all year, like all of these stories starting to leak out, like that is just another symptom of it.
I think you look at the positive though, dude. We've been begging, and I keep saying, and I know everybody gets pissed off, but I don't think Howie's going anywhere. So this way, you have someone there helping, and now maybe you could. Maybe if he's making a horrible decision, John Dorsey's right behind you, dude. Evan or Chris, one of you guys brought up something hilarious. It's like, or even Gail, I think it was. If someone comes into your job and they're training for exactly what you're doing, and you're the only guy that does that job, you got to be like, wait a second. So, dude, you're on the hot seat, Howie. Exactly. It's time to put his ass in check. I love it.
It's just so weird that like some people are like automatically trying to discredit John Dorsey when like the resume literally speaks for itself. Like you can literally say stuff about John Dorsey, like, okay, he's not great with numbers. Cool. It's like we have people that are pretty good with numbers. I mean, look at people that John Dorsey has drafted. Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt, Mitch Morse, Chris Jones, Nick Chubb, Dee Ford, Marcus Peters, Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield. He scouted Aaron Rodgers. Like John Dorsey knows what he's talking about. Like you hear him talk about football and you're like, okay. And then you hear Howie like, all right, well, we're going to be at the quarterback factory and we're going to – it's like, no one wants to hear that shit. Like John Dorsey actually talks about the X's and O's. Like if people don't remember who he is, he was on Hard Knocks, the Cleveland year when Baker Mayfield had the sweater on, he had the glasses, and he was chewing the gum. He was impersonating John Dorsey. John Dorsey, he jumps around a little bit. And my dad was telling me how like he has a bunch of connections with the Eagles as well. Like John Dorsey's a guy that like you want in the building. Like it depends. I don't know what kind of role we're gonna have for him next year, but he's a football guy. He actually can evaluate talent compared to what we've been doing. And
that's the best part is he is a football guy, and that's kind of alluding to what Chris said. About him not being good with numbers. We have Howie. Howie, as much discredit as we like to give Howie, he is good at handling a negative cap situation. So, he's been through 2 rebuilds now, if you think about it. He has been with the post-Chip Kelly, post-Michael Vick era and everything else like that. So, like, as much discredit, and I am a huge proponent of discredit on Howie Roseman, as much discredit as I want to give him, he has helped us get to, positive points after negative seasons. And then on top of that, you bring in a guy like John Dorsey, who Chris just ran down his draft resume and everything, but like he built the foundation of the Browns right now. If you look at the Browns, he drafted Mac Wilson, he drafted Baker Mayfield, he drafted Denzel Ward, he drafted Larry Ogunjobi, he brought in Odell Beckham, he traded for Jarvis Landry. Like
Wyatt Teller.
He drafted Wyatt Teller in the second. He signed J.C. Treader. Like, yes, you're talking about a guy not being great with contracts, but at the end of the day, I need you to bring in some young talent for me. I need you to get me some cost-controlled, cheap contracts with rookies, old vets who still have something left or whatever it may be. But John Dorsey took an 0-16 team, and if you look at the Browns right now, they have 4 losses.
Yeah, they definitely turned it around. I mean, it's obviously clear that we needed the football guy within the room. So
I'm a fucking football guy. Don't look at me in the fucking eye, Howard. Get the fuck out of here. Give me a Sprite.
That's very true, though. That's what we needed.
It's exactly what we needed. I wonder if Howie Roseman got too comfortable in that, because you talked about all of the different regimes that Howie Roseman has been a part of with this Eagles football team. And he's taken demotions. He's been put, and he's like kind of taken a step back, looked at his role and came back with a different sort of scope on how to attack this team. I think that like, we remember when Andy Reid left here and everybody said he's going to have no problem finding another job, right? I think that like sometimes good things just come to an end. Howie Roseman, he has done good things for us in the past, but ultimately it's just sometimes you just need to turn a new leaf in order to move forward.
This is a good comment here. I mean, you start to think like how deep does the rabbit hole get? I mean, 2020 said, I've said this for years. How can Lurie fire Howie when he's really making the picks and Howie is his cover posing as GM? Imagine like, the fact that he has a guy that I could just say, I want him. I want JJ up there, Whiteside. Like if that was a J-Jaw pick, it was actually
a Lurie pick.
Are we getting Jerry Jones here?
I mean, these are some of these things that you just like. We're just talking about. We're not saying it's a fact, but like,
and if that's the case, we're really doomed as an organization. I'm being real, because if the owner has his hands on the situation like that, it doesn't get any higher than the owner. So it's not like we can sit here and petition to get Jeffrey Lurie out of the Eagles organization. He owns it. He's the boss.
You would never try it out.
I know, but that's the problem, though, is what I'm saying, is that like if we have a guy like Jeffrey Lurie who's just not like, the reason that Jeffrey Lurie's in the position he is because he had a lot of money. He was able to buy the team. That doesn't, just because you're able to buy a football team doesn't necessarily make you a football guy like a John Dorsey to have that kind of intellect on who to pick. So if that's the case, we're just not in a good position at all as a organization. And I really don't see any light at the end of the tunnel.
I mean, for me, the most important person to this football team moving forward is who is picking the guys, who is drafting the players. The football guy has been so, again, like I've been a certified Joe Douglas stan because I felt like he was the first guy that kind of put him in the right path of picking free agents and it's building the team from a football guy sense, because that's when we won a Super Bowl, because all those players harmoniously work together, because that's also important part of building a football team. Again, shout out to Matt Spillane. It's also part of the development of the football team is that the team coming together. If the team does not come together for certain reasons, you have to talent is one thing. Like wanting to play for the guy next to you is another thing. Like it's, I think, what was it, Kelsey that was talking about, locker room culture? Mm-hmm. How it's important. The culture is important. If you have a whack ass culture here and no one's playing for each other, that's a problem.
Yep.
Big problem.
Yeah, it's Howie, dude. It's not Jeffrey. I mean, I love the conversation, but if that were the case, I don't think we would have won the Super Bowl. I think he knows his place. Like Gail said, he's a guy with money. He's not the one. And I love what you said about Joe Douglas, because you saw we won a Super Bowl when Howie had a little help. when Doug had a little help from Frank Reich. So it's like, do we bring Doug a little help now?
Yeah.
Jeff says Eagles are 0-4 when Jay Naw is inactive, guys. I mean, that's the real stat here. That is a real stat.
So we're throwing the game. We're throwing the game, guys. I mean, if we're not going to have Mr. Umbrella Boy out there, then we're obviously doomed.
Yeah. Trash.
One Pro Bowler since 2016 proves non-football guys run things. You can't be that bad unless a movie producer and a finance guy is making the picks. Again, like you, and everyone's like, "Yo, how could you be that bad at picking players and then still keep your job?"
So
yeah, well, that's on Jeffrey for giving the finance guy the job to make the football guy pick.
Let's be honest here. He's picked 6 since 2010. We're talking a decade. We have 6 Pro Bowlers. Joe Douglas.
That's crazy.
Joe Douglas found 3 in one draft.
Yeah, Joe Douglas is definitely missing link. I love John Dorsey. I really think this is going to help us, man. We got the football guy we've been asking for.
Man, shout out to all the people in the chat. Again, if we haven't extended the link, if you guys want to jump on the show, if you want to jump on the pregame, you want to have one of these seats right next to us and talk about your points and spit facts.
And you don't have to have a cool background like Gail with the Ben Franklin Bridge behind him. You can just come on the normal lame background like me.
I'm just hanging up here, just the great view over here. Also, shout out to Mr. Marcus Walker. I don't know if he's on. He was on earlier, but he did send us a box of goodies that
thank you, Marcus.
We wanted to pass out, so I could do a little unboxing while we talk too.
Of course.
Sitting there, you got to spray it down. COVID.
Don't let that smelly jersey hit it.
Yeah, I smell like full on cat urine. Again, this is for Matt.
Dedication, baby.
Are you guys like out of curiosity? Are you guys big time superstition people? Like aside from the Eagle?
I try to say I'm not, but
season.
After winning the Super Bowl, I stopped.
After we won the Super Bowl, you stopped?
You're right.
I was like, I gotta get back mentally.
Well, that year I wore like every jersey color they were wearing. I told you guys how my little niece, she was like 5-6 years old. I was like, hey, honey. She had a purple toy during the NFC Championship game. I'm like, you need to get that the hell out of my house. So no purple was allowed. And it's just like, I think after that Super Bowl, I was like, all right, I did all I could, everything I could. And now I still feel, though, I still do my things every now and again, like having Evan on again last night. It's like, put that good juju back in the air. So I still ride with my funny things, but I don't think it controls me like it used to, because I used to be nuts as a young man.
See, I kind of do, I guess. Like if we win, I'll wear the same jersey. Like I didn't wear a jersey last week, so I might be messing it up right now. But if we win, I'll ride that jersey out, but I'll still wash it. Like, come on, Gail.
I got to be honest with you. I think my memory is so bad, I don't even think I can have superstitions. I don't remember what I wore last week to even be able to do it.
I have to check the tapes.
Yeah, exactly. What the hell was I wearing?
I don't even know what I'm wearing right now.
I would wear the same socks, the same drawers. The drawers were washed.
Okay.
Same pants for the whole season, man. Same sneakers.
Nasty mofo.
Yo, so going back to the Super Bowl and superstitions and everything, we had a Super Bowl party. I was in South Dakota at the time. That's the same season I met you guys. We had a Super Bowl party back in South Dakota, and it was at one of my buddy's house. And every time the Eagles had the ball, we had a Pats fan there. Every time the Eagles had the ball, I made the Pats dude stand outside, because it was there were 7 of us, and we were all Eagles fans. And
that's a fair move.
So we made the Pats fans stand outside while we had the ball. And then whenever the final snap happened, we made him shotgun a beer outside of the front door.
That's awesome.
I refuse. I literally, I forgot. One superstition I still hold on to is I refuse to watch a game with other fans. Now, it could be the fact that I'm trying to change my life around, trying not to be so angry all the time.
Does that include like down at the stadium?
No, that's fine. At the stadium, it's great. I love busting balls, doing that. Yeah. I always find myself around those people, which is fine, because I love, showing them we're not all crazy. Well, we're crazy, but I'm not going to beat your ass unless you provoke. Now, I think the thing is, it's just too much for me to sit there and listen to people tell me what I already know when we suck. So I love it, Soko. I remember last year when we were actually still able to get together, my cousin's like, hey, my second cousin's up visiting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, well, who's he a fan of? And it was somebody we were playing. I'm like, dude, are you hi, dude? I was like, you think I would, come on, bro. He's like, oh, you're right. I'll just have him stay home. I'm like, thanks, dude. Like, and then like people were trying to like throw comments, like make me feel like a dick. Like, oh, it sucks he couldn't come. I'm like, oh, it sucks he's not an Eagles fan, huh?
Yeah.
Break, dude.
So we got an unboxing. Yeah, I'm ready for an unboxing. Let me see.
Shout out to Marcus Walker.
Oh yeah.
Another bottle of that Broad Street Musk men's cologne.
Marcus is the one who won that hat last week.
Oh, returning the favor. What a guy.
Also an Air Force recruiter in Louisiana.
All right. Thank you for your service, Mark.
Look at you with the intel. And he packs a great box, too. Nope.
That's what she said.
Or is that what he said?
We don't have a P.O. box at 4th and John, but if you want to send stuff to me and the guys, let me know. Because I could do unboxing videos.
All right. So while we're
it's
waiting
a glitter
on
bomb.
Unboxing, Ryan's got a good question here.
Whoa.
Would you guys rather lose out and get a better pick, or win out and maybe get in the playoffs?
Nah, I don't ever want to be in the position where I want to lose. The idea of it was enticing for a moment. I had the thought of, well, if we had a high draft pick, but no, I can't allow the fandom in me to be wishing for losses in this team. And I want to see the best out of everybody each and every week, regardless of what our record is.
I just want to see us draft good wherever we are, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't
welcome to the
myself.
party. We're opening up our presents. Gail is about to show us what Mr. Marcus Walker sent us. What do we have there?
Look at this.
Some playing cards?
We got cards for the boys.
Oh, very nice.
Air Force Reserve Command.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent.
That's our 3 core values as well.
Shout out to Soko with all the intel right now. We have water bottles.
Stay hydrated.
Put that in the man cave, Prime. Maybe
we're gonna be the water champions next year.
We have keychains.
Very nice.
I need a keychain. Oh, he's not playing, dude.
Oh, damn. Yo, honestly, the Air Force Reserve creative team with the nice materials here.
Yeah. Bro, recruiters get all the money.
Yeah.
We're not done yet.
Is there an application for the Air Force in the bottom there?
We have masks.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, dope.
Very nice. Very nice.
I know Soko, you have one of these?
No, we're not even allowed to wear them with emblems on them.
Oh, see, you don't even have this. See, exclusive.
Because I'm active duty. I'm not a weekend warrior.
Whoa. We're not even done yet. We're not done yet. Okay, here we go.
Ooh,
dude, that looks
actually kind of dope.
Love it.
Very nice. Always down to support our guys.
Still not done yet. One more here. One more.
Dude, he packed it up.
Sure did.
What is that? Is that a shirt?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Plugged up.
1948, huh?
If I start making friends all over Philly. Yo, you were in the reserve? No, but I'm on the John show. And
that's stolen valor.
Yeah. Shout out to Marcus Walker.
Yeah, big time, man. Thank you so much for sending that in, man. It's very, very kind. Very kind. And thank you to everybody that served in the military as well. We thank you for everything that you guys did.
Yes.
For those who didn't know, 1948, as said on the back of that. So originally, the Air Force was a component of the Army. It was called the Army Air Corps. At that point, in 1948, is whenever it split into 2 branches, and it became the United States Army and the United States Air Force.
Interesting.
So knowledge for you.
Nice little history lesson.
Well, shout out to Paul. I don't know what the shipping to London is, but I'm sure the guys here wouldn't mind sharing one of their masks.
I don't mind to flex on you right here.
Ooh.
It's that Sal's Pizza Works.
Sal's with the style.
Yo, here we go. I'm not gonna share this. This one is gonna be mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's got your face juice all over it.
And your nasty ass jersey. And
It's actually not bad. Like,
Yeah, it's sleek. That's sleek.
out of all the masks that I have, you know what I mean?
Very nice.
Okay.
Like it.
So, Paul, send me your address. I'll give you one of these Air Force masks.
Didn't get the boxers. Mark, next box.
come on, Marcus.
The trousers are essential.
What if there were draws in the bottom?
That would be.
I would laugh.
I was gonna say if he had shorts, I was like, this dude.
Can he do any airdrops? Maybe drop you off.
Yeah,
There.
you
Oh,
imagine.
we have dual London chats going on in the chat. We got Nick Walker all the way out from London. Shout out to Paul saying what's
Thanks for
up.
tuning in, London.
Yes, thank you.
Shout out to hey, and Paul, make sure you send me your address, and we're gonna have Evan pay for the shipping. Just kidding, my guy.
All right,
Yeah,
so
we're about an hour from kickoff here, boys. What's the general vibes going on right now? You guys feeling confident? Because I said before, like we got into the unboxing, we were talking a little bit earlier. I'm expecting a shootout today, guys. What do you see? You expecting a high scoring game as well?
That our defensive backs, I think. I mean, you're gonna want that front four to get pressure. I mean,
Yeah, but like trying to contain a guy like Kyler Murray, though, man.
they did it. They
Tall
did
task.
it to. They did it to.
Taysom Hill.
They did it to Russell.
Russ. Yeah, I mean, he had a couple big passes to DK, but you're right.
Yeah, better corners then. But again, like it could be possible.
You saw Jacquet against the Dallas Cowboys, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, all that fun stuff. Look, we were battered then. They came out, they fought. The kid isn't going to come out and be a superstar. I'm sure he's going to have a rough time, whether it's Kirk Fitzgerald and if D-Hop's on him, sure. But now you're talking about Nickel Roby-Coleman. I also do not like him outside. But at this point, who knows? And when we're running the nickel and he moves back inside, he's only going to be outside when it's the 4-3 base set, two corners outside. I think that Kevon Seymour, even he showed a little something. And look, the kid's playing with a chip on his shoulder. So maybe these guys bring that heart that we ask for every damn week. So I'm getting excited, dude, to answer the question. I think this team, once again, if they come out and Jalen Hurts has progressed, we open the playbook up a little bit more. Let's see what he's got with the arm. Dude, shootout time, baby. Let's go.
Go ahead.
I followed you guys for a few years now, and I remember last year during the Green Bay game that everybody likes to talk about, and whenever we went down there and beat them in their home field in Lambeau. I saw you guys tweet out about Craig James. Maybe, Kevin Seymour this year's Craig James comes up with a big play to win it for us.
Very possible. I was thinking about Kayvon Wallace as well. I mean, just maybe he bursts onto the scene with I know that the talk about Jalen Mills being moved down to corner on some plays. Maybe Kayvon Wallace comes in and shows us something. But Prime, welcome to the chat, my friend. How are you?
What's going on?
What's up, Brian?
What up, bro?
It kind of sucks waking up to all the bullshit that I'm seeing over the Twitter line about Carson wanted to leave and this and that.
Sleeping until 2:30? What are you, me?
Nah. Just had to take care of some stuff. Christmas is right around the corner, so some last minute shopping I had to go ahead and knock out.
I feel that.
Yeah, still not even done, nowhere even near. So it's a little frustrating, but yeah, man, what's going on, Ryan? Just like I said, waking up to that news and the Texas.
You seem hurt, bro. Let it out.
It's bothering the shit out of me, man. It's taking a toll out of me, man, because this is just, again, something that I just wasn't expecting. But, hey, 2020, I mean, another topic that is getting brought upon us, and this one is probably hitting home the worst.
I can see it in your eyes, Prime.
Yeah,
Making
man.
me feel. And I woke up pissed off, dude.
Prime looks like he just watched his dog get run over, man.
I really want to hear what Carson has to say when they get a chance to talk to him.
That's the thing, Jimmy. I just need to hear from him, man. Yep. I'm tired of, I'm hearing from sources, or this guy said this, or this guy said that. I need to hear from him myself, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would like to go ahead and put the topic to sleep, but until I hear something specifically from him.
Do you think this is a fedora day for Carson at the podium?
I think Carson he has a message for you.
What, are you gonna cry now? Come on, cry, baby, cry for me. Come on, cry.
Dude, that movie stands the test of time. That's still an all timer. It really is.
I'll never be able to use that meme ever again.
That's my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah. I could only think of Carson as a redheaded dude. He's like upset, and he's I think the funny thing is, and this is where we are in Eagles news right now. Like, if Carson like really flexes on the Birds and forces a trade, like you know how weird. Like, we're not just talking about now, but the history. Like, if he ever comes back here to play, or the narrative that will always linger about Carson in Philadelphia, and then am I going to wear this cat urine jersey ever again? Probably not.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy to think about. If Carson is on, wearing something other than Eagles green in the future, just as soon as the world opens back up, that game, his first homecoming game to Philadelphia, that is going to be a wild experience for sure.
Man, can you imagine the Boo Birds out for him?
Oh, he's going to hear every single one of them.
I can't do it. I love the kids still. I can't.
Brian, will you boo?
No. You're going to hear from me right here, right now. Whatever jersey that man has, I'm coming into that fucking stadium wearing that jersey.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow.
I did it for Dawkins. I'll do it for Carson.
You bought the Dawkins Broncos?
Broncos I came into that stadium with the Broncos jersey.
Ooh, even if he forces his hand, even if the Eagles say we want to even if the Eagles say we want to keep you, and he says no, I want nothing to do with your organization anymore.
No, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to stay here, so go because he doesn't want to be a backup, and I respect that. He's not a backup quarterback.
Yeah,
he's not a backup quarterback. So I mean, I would rather him go somewhere else.
I think it's going to come down to, like we talked about at the beginning, I think it really is going to come to a competition. We can't read too much until we hear it from him. And the fact that someone leaked this right before a game, it just shows you they're trying to, throw a wrench in what we're doing. And look, whether Al Sheena Anderson is out here, spreading whatever kind of news they are, I really think that we need to see it from Carson. We talked about him getting sacked 50 times, hit second most in the league. Look, the kid's getting killed. We needed to put Jalen Hurts in. I think we got a competition on our hands. I don't think this is just over quite yet.
No, and I'm with you. It's definitely not quite over. You know what I mean? Like, it's far from over, but just this little bit of shit that's coming out right now is like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear this shit right now. I mean, give some time. Jalen's going against Arizona today. I still stick with what I said last week. I would like to see this kid play out, audition for a job somewhere else.
Man, dude, Prime, you were bringing some type of energy into the chat right now, bro.
I am, bro. Listen, anybody and everybody can come at me however they want.
You make a valid point, and I think a lot of us you have these moments where a player leaves, and you're just like, all right, man, like even Will Parks was here for a very short amount of time, and the way that people backed him, like. If Carson does in fact leave, he's going to take a portion of he's not going to take a portion of the fan base, but a portion of the fan base is going to feel a certain way, and it is like every decade you're going to have like fans who back McNabb, fans who back Vic, fans who didn't like Vic for dog reasons. People like, my first time rolling into preseason, training camp, and it was his first open practice. The guys behind me were like, I was like, do you realize there's a black dude sitting right in front of you? And they were like, the guys were like, literally like, oh, so God, I'm so good. That's like I'm so tired of black quarterbacks here in Philly. And I'm like, he's like, yo, Wentz is the great white hope. And I was like, you know that I'm sitting right in front of you. I can hear you. I can hear you guys. So I mean, the fan base is always going to be divided on some type of shit and feel certain ways about players.
But that's not that. Like, don't make that story sound like that sort of thing is exclusive to Eagles fans. I mean, racism that exists in all shapes and sizes.
Like some fans just have the weirdest.
Different reasons.
Totally different.
And that's the frustrating part, Evan. Is like you touch on a key topic there. People are taking this controversy into different ways that it shouldn't even be looked at. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's two people that are playing for our organization, regardless of who it is, regardless of what the outcome is going to be. I die green, I bleed green, Eagles for life, no matter what. But I mean, come on, that's the only vision I'm looking at it is as a competition between two guys that are trying to make a valid point on who's going to stay here. Other than that, they shouldn't be taking it into any other topic, any other type of category. That's the part that pisses me off. I hear some of these people, I see some of these comments, and me reading into it, they're taking it to a whole different level that they shouldn't even have to be taking it.
What's going on?
What's up, Sam? How you doing, man?
Good. How
Sam,
are you
what's
guys?
going on, man?
What up,
How you guys been?
Jumping on.
I mean, we're in the Philadelphia cold. You're in the Florida hot.
Is it hot down there?
Yeah.
It's mid-60s today. It's been nice the last couple.
You poor guy. You had to throw in a long sleeve shirt today.
Yeah, shut up.
Yeah. It's a little chilly.
I enjoy it.
There's been, it's just been chaos, Sam, this past few weeks. And then the story that comes out earlier today. What are your thoughts on everything that's just kind of transpired over today?
Are we shocked? We're not really supposed to be shocked, are we?
No.
The guy doesn't want to be a backup. I wouldn't want to be a backup either if he just paid me $125 million. I can imagine that he didn't think back in September that he would be benched. So, it's not a big deal at all. I mean, if he wants to leave, then he'll take a pay cut and he'll leave.
Do you think it's that simple? Do you think he's going to be willing to take a pay cut like that? I mean, if he's that desperate to get out,
if he wants to be a starter somewhere else in the league, yeah.
I mean, if you put it in the frame of Carson Wentz, he comes from North Dakota, very small town. Carson Wentz has already excelled way beyond like anybody else in the area that he grew up in. He's well off no matter what at this point in his life, regardless of what happens from here to the future. So, I mean, I can kind of see how he would be willing to give up some money just to put himself in a more ideal situation.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a no-brainer for him. If they say you're not likely to start next year, then it would shock me if he's here next year. No matter what they have to do to get the contract down, no matter what he has to do to get, his ticket out. But they should let him choose where he wants to go.
I get it, but I mean, really, after one game, we got to see
what Hurst has the next few.
Sure. After one game,
and I agree.
That's the caveat is if he looks good, if Hurts looks good like he did against the Saints, then you have a real issue.
Yeah. Well, that's the other upsetting part, man. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep cutting people off because today's just a topic that I'm really edgy about. That's the other thing, man. Like, don't get me wrong, the kid changed the atmosphere of the game to an extent because come that second half, bro, they adjusted to him quickly, and it wasn't the same outcome in that second half. I still stick by to what I tell a couple of my friends, people, at work and stuff. That defense that day played their asses off where I felt like they were the reasons we won that game. A majority of the reason. Again, do not get me wrong. Jalen Hurts played his game and his outcome, is what changed, the chemistry between the players. But still, that second half, it's like me sitting here and telling you guys, oh, that kid is not going to do his thing. You know what I mean? Because look at the adjustment they made in that second half.
But you got to, the quarterback's not turning the ball over. He make a play with his legs. You got to give credit, man. You got to give.
I do, Gail. I really do, man. But
it's the first starting game of his career. Like, I don't know.
Against a really good defense, but that's the thing, so we're impressed. We love it. So let's see some more. I think this story coming out at this time is ridiculous, and I hate it because it's like we got to see what Jalen Hurts is first off, guys, before we're just shipping Carson Wentz away. So I still believe in Carson, and if Jalen Hurts start balling out, like Sam just said, then we have ourselves an issue between the two, and hopefully the best man wins and is here. But I'm just going to keep coming back to the fact that, dude, getting rid of Carson Wentz costs a lot of money, and I get it. A lot of times it's like, yeah, but blah, 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 we got to get younger. Look at the cap hell that we're in next year. I don't know if we want to make it harder for ourselves. And if you got two quarterbacks you already spent the money on, why not let those guys compete?
We got Mr. Walk to Success 28 coming. Is this Marcus Walker? Can't hear you.
You got it on mute, bro.
All right,
what's going on, man?
What is
yes, sir?
What's going on?
Not much. So I heard a little bit of what Prime was talking about as far as the hype behind Jalen Hurts. And I'll say this, with Arizona having full film now, and like you said, with the Saints making that adjustment, our offense wasn't as explosive as it was in that first half. This game is going to be a true test. We got to protect Jalen, but Budda Baker is going to be on his heels. And then as well, you had Hassan Reddick that just came off a 5-sack game against the Giants. He's going to be on the hills as well. And we're on our, 13th rotation on the O-line. So I'm a big Eagles fan, but I did pick up Arizona's defense on my fantasy.
Smart man.
But I'm a realist. I'm an Eagles fan, but I'm going to always be a realist. I would like to see all our talent out there. Alshon, he got to sit down. Let Travis get out there and get them reps because Alshon's not going to be part of this future moving on.
Exactly.
And then you got Jalen, Hightower, and Watkins. All them dudes need to be doing punt return and kick return. Ward doesn't need to be back there. And I do like Boston Scott back there at kick return. He has a little explosiveness. Reminds me a little bit of that Brian Mitchell, Westbrook kind of explosiveness out there. But like I told me and Soko, I'm going to be the head coach. Soko's going to be the GM. And we're going to go ahead and take over that organization and bring it back, starting with uniforms.
Marcus, first of all, I just want to say thank you for all the gifts that you sent, man.
Hey, thanks for the hat, man. That's what I can do, give y'all guys some swag back.
I'm going to rock this tomorrow. Or maybe today. When I go rock it. Like,
yeah. Hey, at least you're being safe.
Exactly right, man. Exactly right. And thank you for your service, by the way.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But I think you touched on some key things here, and something that we've been talking about. And like me and Jamie last night, we were discussing the whole Travis Fulgham versus Alshon Jeffrey. Like, why are we starting to see Alshon Jeffrey take snaps away from Travis Fulgham? But then I brought up the conversation of like, we've heard stories earlier this year about Howie Roseman is determining who's going out there, who's playing these games. Do you guys in the room think that there's anything to like trying to limit Travis Fulgham's production so that in like a future like they know that they're not going to move on with Alshon. So in like a future contract, they're trying to just keep that number down. Do you guys think that's a possibility?
You've been saying some Peterson has said some things that he's got to work harder. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes or where that he's not able to gain separation if they're seeing something. But again, I really feel like Howie is pushing that. That whole thing with Alshon, putting him on the field. I feel like they paid for that. The amount of money that Alshon Jeffrey is making, the absurd amount of money, they're like, yo, you're going to play. Because it looks worse. It looks even worse for Howie.
I know.
He's not playing.
And it feels like a lie straight to our face when you just come out and say, well, Alshon's been playing better. Because no, he hasn't.
One catch?
Yeah.
One catch?
Well, his point was he's getting healther. So therefore, because he's healthier, he's better.
Right.
Oh, man.
He gets paid like probably what, like $150, like, $200,000 per snap. This is like.
Evan, if you were next to me right now, I'll grab that damn Like, this shit
Nah.
is really frustrating. One catch. You're really going to go ahead and base off of one catch and the guy's doing better than Fogum?
It doesn't
Really?
make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Man.
Makes no sense.
What it reminds me of is the scene from Moneyball where Brad Pitt was telling Stephen Hoffman, like, hey, you need to play those players I picked. The if he's playing first base, play first base. I think that's what Howie is telling Doug. Like, hey, the statistics show Alshon is, a better probability than Travis. But when Travis was on the field, within the 5 games he played, he was almost a top 5 leading receiver. And he was he was literally our number 1 receiver at that point. Now that we got a healthy Jalen Reagor, you have a big that you can use as a threat in the end zone and utilize that speed that Reagor brings, like we were seeing last week with the pitches, the jet sweeps, and all that. We can low-key have an explosive offense, but the GM can't come into the locker room, especially if he's not a football guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just looking at the numbers and thinking this should make sense.
And what doesn't make any sense to me
brings
is
me
that,
to my next question. I think I
Go
put
ahead.
this
You need to drink after that one.
with John Dorsey now coming out as a consultant. I just got done with flag football game. With John Dorsey now being a consultant, do you think potentially Philly will bring him on as a draft guy since John Dorsey is kind of a football guy? He drafted Baker. He drafted Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett. He has a decent resume underneath his name from both Kansas City and with the Browns. So can that translate to us and we have a decent draft class this upcoming year?
Oh, he's got a GM resume? That sounds like a GM resume to me.
He was the GM of the Chiefs and the Browns the last few years. But the problem with Dorsey is that if you don't fire Howie, he's probably not going to stay. He wants a GM job, and he's being considered for a bunch of them around the league. So the problem is you either have to hire him or you let him go. I don't think you're going to be able to keep him as just a draft guy and consultant.
Well, there's another thing about that is like, that's the word that he's out there, like,
Right.
That narrative.
That's the buzz. That's just the buzz.
Yeah, like putting him out as a GM candidate when he might not be, and then maybe this, him being in this role, because Matt Lombardo had put that thing out saying that, like, he's could be up for a candidate, and he could potentially bring Eric Bieniemy wherever he goes next.
Right.
So you just want, and there's also the stories of like, his when he was a GM and his, he would side with players and he would alienate some players and rub some players the wrong way, and was the GM that was in the coach's ear, and he had that kind of vibe to him. So I don't know. It's just interesting that story came out. That's the weirdest part for me. I was like, who put that out there? Like, why are we getting that like right now? Is what I'm wondering about. You know what I mean?
Maybe Corey Smith was the leak.
Thank you.
Oh.
Put that tweet up. Thank you.
Torrey Smith saying, y'all are out of your mind if you think Carson Wentz can't ball
Out of your
because
mind.
of this one
I don't think that's it. I just think the perception is that he's washed.
Yeah, I don't think that it's anybody in the Philadelphia Eagle fan base that thinks that Carson Wentz can't ball. Like,
I mean, some people do think that though.
Some people, some people.
I've seen it enough
that.
times. I've seen it enough times where people are just like, but
Yeah,
again, it's portion of the
possible.
fan base.
There's always going to be haters on any starting quarterback in the NFL. There are people who dislike Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but
Aaron
like
Rodgers.
that number of haters is certainly going to increase when Carson had the year that he did. I mean, what I've been saying is that I don't think that Carson Wentz can't turn this around. I think he can turn around and be a good quarterback, but he's dug himself a hole now. So he needs to dig himself out of that hole before we can, he needs to gain the trust of the fan base back because he's lost a lot of it.
Right.
All right, if we're going around the room here, quick answers, right? Just quick answers. Just tell me one reason, and in the chat, one reason why we've seen the downfall of Carson's play this season. Give me a quick answer. And we'll go around. And I want people in the chat to give me one reason why you think his play has been bad this year.
Prime, go ahead.
Coaching.
Yep.
Coaching.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp with Prime where I think that Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz just simply don't gel well together anymore.
Okay.
Offensive line.
Offensive line. Sam?
Too many people in his ear.
Okay. Marcus.
The city got to him.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm also.
Do you want me to elaborate?
I mean, you can.
When you're on,
Carson's a North Dakota guy. He's in Philly now. We loved him when he was high. We got on him when he was down. And then he's seen other guys have success with his product. So he's seen Foles take his team to the Super Bowl. He's seen Foles almost take his team to another NFC championship. And then you see the city cheering for Foles, and you're supposed to be the Fives QB. He's getting the Markel Fultz treatment right now because our city is cutthroat. Carson is not he's not built for a cutthroat city. We're not one of those, we're going to love you because we're small. If you're not giving us a decent product, we're going to come at you because we're used to having success as an organization. And I think that mentally got to him to where he's kind of folding and he wants to bring the success, which is why they came back to a statement. He's talking about he's not used to throw all away because he's trying to make the move. He's trying to get that success and love that the city had instead of just doing what he's told. He needs to change the scenery. The city got to Carson, which is mentally affecting him and his performance and it's shown on the field.
I'm gonna go. My answer. I'm gonna say mental. Mental is a big part of where he got to where he is. Trying to do too much and feel like he has to do too much, and just again, like we've seen so many plays from him where we're just in awe from his athletic ability to his arm strength to his making plays out of thin air. But there's been points in his career where I've seen him kind of work outside of the system and do things his own way. Where if I'm Doug Peterson and I'm the head coach, I'm like, you're freelancing here. Like I need you to get back to here. And if it goes back to also like if mental. If him and Doug aren't connecting, then there's just the marriage is not perfect. And,
yeah.
So I want to run something down for you guys real quick because I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is an all-time great. I think that he is in the upper echelons of quarterbacks in terms of winning whenever it comes to the actual game of football. So I want to run you guys down to year 5 of Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. So his year 5, 281 of 469 with a 59% completion rate. Threw for a career low of 3,300 yards with a 7-yard per completion clip, which is also a career low. 17 TDs, 15 picks, and had 10 fumbles with a passer rating, which was a career low of 80.1. And we're talking about a guy that's in year 17 now.
Yep, one bad year doesn't define someone.
Who was surrounded by Roethlisberger in that year? Was that the Heinz Ward era?
Heinz Ward,
Antonio Holmes,
Randall L.
Oh yeah,
Heath Miller.
Yeah, Heath Miller, Randall L.
Willie.
And then that organization has made many changes when it was needed. So again, it just goes back to we need some changes. I'm not saying that Evan, you touched on Doug and him might not be. I just still think that it's other coaches around him. It goes back to what somebody mentioned, a lot of voices in his ear, a lot of chiefs, that, are overtaking his thoughts and stuff. And then you got, I just feel like you got to make some type of adjustments with that coaching staff. Right now, he's just not being coached, whether if it's Doug, whether if it's the quarterback coach, somebody in there is just not doing their job. And it's affecting his play. I mean, those are good stats to hear that here Ben had in year 5 and he's in year 17 in the same organization. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I just stick to what I say. Carson is our man. Carson needs to stay here. Carson is not the one that needs to go.
That was also a career high in sacks taken. So I go back to the O-line. Ben was hit 42 times that season. Well, sacked 42 times that season. Carson Wentz is at 52, and he hasn't even played a full season. That's why I keep going back to the offensive line.
But like we're also kind of disregarding in this comparison, we're disregarding the intangibles of it. Philadelphia is a much bigger city than Pittsburgh. I think that the fandom that exists within here, the noise is a lot louder for these players than it is in Pittsburgh. So I just kind of look at it, and to touch on Marcus's point, he talked about how like it seems like Carson is somewhat broken by this city. And like the way that I feel about that is if that's the case, the city isn't going to change. Like we're not going to change as fans. So if ultimately the quarterback isn't mentally strong enough to put up with all of the criticism that's being thrown his way, it's not going to stop unless he turns his game around. So it's just a product of our city.
I think you got to look at it. Yes, these fans, the media, we make something out of nothing all of the time. So I don't think it's fair to say that Carson Wentz can't handle it. I think that, and I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying
of course.
A lot of people come out and, you just can't handle the heat. Well, maybe it has affected him a little, but look at all the other things we've talked about week in and week out about the offensive line, the running backs. First off, the running backs can't block worth hell. So teams are just attacking us all over the place, dude, and the receivers aren't getting open. There's so many things that you have to look at where, look, I think Carson, he handles things differently. So we talk about that energy. Maybe he needs to find something different, a way to address people and be a teammate, a leader. And he's still learning that. I mentioned this earlier, Roethlisberger and Brady, Breeze, and so many people that have had horrible years, Peyton Manning, and they worked out just fine. So I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. And look, Howie did this to us and Jeffrey or whoever else by drafting Jalen Hurts. This is where we are. And the kid played well. So it is what it is right now, as Gail would say. But let's see what he does today. And, let's see this competition that I really feel that we're going to have next year. I just don't think it's cut and dry, this simple that Carson's gone already.
I don't think it's happening.
Yeah.
If it goes down this route, which it has already, when they decided this is from Banner right here. I put it up earlier, but I promise you that when the Eagles bench Wentz, they discussed his reaction and how they felt about it. The fact that he's upset and may not want to return was thoroughly discussed before the decision was made. So, I mean, they're a step ahead. They know exactly what they're doing here, what this is going to cause. And so we're here. We're already past the fact that, this might even Chris Long said weeks ago, he said, you made the decision now. You got to you stepped in it. You can't go back. You crossed the line. The fact that Adam Schefter made this story this morning, that's now the biggest beat writer in the nation of football has a story that he doesn't want to be in this situation anymore. Who put that out there? I don't know.
I know a guy that always comes with some heat and some good answers, though. It's my man, Timothy Bragdon. How you doing, man? Oh, he's trying to get him up there. We're playing phone tag right now, me and Gail.
What's going on, guys? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
What's going on, fellas? Another beautiful Eagles Sunday. How y'all feeling?
You're in the hot seat now. You're in the hot seat.
I'm in the hot seat. Hey, it's all right. I'm always in the hot seat on this show. It's okay. I'll take it.
How you feeling today? I mean, we had some huge news drop.
Yeah.
Did that kind of take away your juice from the game, or where's your head at right now?
I'm gonna be honest. I know Prime's in the room. I'm gonna be honest. It upset me a little bit. Like Gail says, for the last I don't know how many weeks, comes in and says something else got leaked. So this is again a serious problem within this organization that
we got
things just until they just. How are we supposed to run a $1 billion business when you're constantly having things that are supposed to be kept in-house outside of your house? Yep. I just don't understand that aspect. Number one. Two, I don't like to hear this, even if this is, let's just take it as it is, and let's say that it's coming from Carson. I don't like to hear this from the man who's supposed to be our starting quarterback. You lost the job, whatever the case may be, whether we want to claim it as the team as a whole problems, offense, defense, whatever it is, injuries. Carson took the blunt of that, and he ended up losing his position.
Yep.
Jalen's now our starter going forward, let's just say. But at the same time, you were not playing to the level that deserved to be a franchise quarterback. So with that being said, the only person that you have to look at in the mirror is you, my man. Okay? You, Wentz. So you cannot be saying and standing in front of people saying that, oh, well, because you guys didn't pick me first, I'm going to go request to go to another team. It just doesn't make any sense. This is not what I want to hear from you. What I want to hear is, yo, I'm going to do everything I can to get that starting job back. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear, hey, if I'm not the first guy, then I want to go somewhere else. Put me here, put me there. What? No, you're supposed to be an eagle. You're supposed to be a strong bird. That's what you're supposed to be. So stand up, be the leader that we all believe that you are. Everybody in this room is a Wentz fan.
Yep.
Are we not?
No,
so
100%.
we want you to be this man. We want you to stand up and be Maximus and lead us through the battle, lead us through the war, lead us to a victory.
Right. But right now he's being Eric Cartman.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going home.
Well, I haven't heard it from him yet. So until I hear from him, I'm not going to be pissed at him. I understand he's upset about being a backup. I would be too. You should be. Fight harder, dude. So I agree with Tim. Get your damn job. Show us you're the leader, man.
Hey,
right. Tim couldn't have said it any better, man, for real. But again, like Jimmy said, I got to hear from his mouth, man. I can't go off with this, bullshit. Josina Anderson or Alshon Jeffrey. No, I'm just saying though. But I mean, if somebody leaked it, Adam Schefter ran with it, but somebody leaked it.
And that's the problem, Prime. That's the problem that we're having is that this stuff continues to get leaked out every week. I heard you guys talking about it in the beginning. Every week we're jumping on here and we're talking about another issue or another thing that's coming out. We got a hot topic to talk about first thing in the morning on Sunday when we should be all hyped like Jimmy is, coming on here and ready to mass on freaking Eagles Day. Like, I don't understand. We're just constantly talking about drama that's going on in this relationship with us being Birds fans.
Yo, the reality show is kicked in, and I said it was kick in a month ago, and we're here. And the fact that, the fact that we're hearing things, and we don't ever on this podcast hear things like things that we're hearing, like a potential restructure. If we're even like going there, that means the Wentz is already
the framework set,
bro. Like that's
right.
That's very concerning to me, and the fact that you're just like, wow. Like if we're here already, and if Wentz is that serious about because if he gets there, he says, all right, I will restructure. That means he's like, do whatever it takes to get me the F out of here. And when he got drafted, when Jalen Hurts got drafted, I said, guys who've done certain situations, like, obviously, Wentz wasn't Montana and Hurts is not Steve Young. But Bill Walsh brought in Steve Young when he had a Montana. And everyone knows how good Montana was. But he brought him in. And what did he do? You got a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Montana, and you're taking him off the field to bring in Steve Young. And then why did he do it? He's like, I wanted to get the best out of Montana. I wanted to bring the competition level up here. It's different eras, it's different years. Some people, it's different. Where if you're not talking to someone a certain way, people feel a certain way. If you're not treating someone like back, the
label on the box said North Dakota tough, man.
Well, I mean, even look at so much as like Green Bay and what they did with Aaron. And bringing in a guy, coming up and getting a guy in the first round, and to put that kind of pressure on him. And look what he's done. I mean, look at what we're talking about. You want to compare. You were just saying, Gail, we're talking about two different time frames, but look at what Green Bay's doing, and look at how Aaron has responded.
Exactly.
Aaron has stood up and has been like, yo, okay, you want to draft the first rounder? I got this. Don't you worry about it. You're going to regret that in the long run. We all were expecting, once we tried to piece together the chaos that was draft night after Jalen got taken, in our second round. So we're like, what's going to be doing? What are they going to be thinking? And that's what they were trying to do, is light a fire under you and get the maximum out of you, because we're paying you hundreds of millions of dollars.
I know. But doesn't it just seem totally nonsensical still to this day? Because we talked about it, how that was an issue. Like the Eagles knew that Carson looking over his shoulder was an issue prior to Jalen Hurts being drafted. So why Why did they pull that move? Because they how did they not know in the back of their heads that this was a possibility to happen?
But that's the problem that they knew, and again we don't get all the information that what's going down, but again, like every shit is weird, dude. And like I keep on going back to like trying to make sense of like certain things, and then when you hear players are feeling a certain way, like that Carson's only playing because they're tied to him monetarily at this moment, and those are guys in your locker room. Again, like why are guys talking? But they are, and if they're not, and then this Joe Santaloquito article that came out, and then he also Carson came back the next year and said, I have to do things better. So obviously something to happen within the locker room and the vibe. And then we hear another a couple weeks ago from Golden Tate and how he felt about like
Carson has his own circle within the locker room, right?
So I mean, like
and it's the same thing that Camardi said too. So I mean,
again, these are players, not fans, not like
so like this question is really directed to Prime, is what I'm asking. But like we talked about how your Carson fandom is never going to waver. So we have seen a lot of players this year, from Sharif Miller to Will Parks, a lot of people coming out, and then once they leave this Eagles organization, they've got something to say about it. What about when Carson leaves this team and he has something to say? What's going to happen then? I mean, that's when the fires are going to really start.
I get it, man. It'd be interesting to hear. I mean, what was actually going on? I'm with you on that. It'd be very interesting to see what scoop he has on this organization.
Yeah,
but, I want to hear it from his mouth first. But I hear what Gail's saying about Joe Banner, Chris Long. This is the point of no return. I would be 100% all in with you if everything around us wasn't on fire right now. If we had a healthy line, we were running the ball, we had receivers, healthy and getting open. If we had a defense that wasn't decimated, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde every week, I think then I'd be okay with it. But I don't know what it is, man. I just feel they benched him because they knew he could handle it, and he needed to be benched, dude. He was getting murdered out there, and it wasn't just his fault. He had his bad play. I don't know, man. I don't think you spend that much money and draft someone without knowing this is all possibilities. I think that they're seeing what they got in their second-round pick, and now that's going to light that fire that you talked about, Joe Montana, Steve Young. Maybe that's what they were shooting for, and maybe he comes out and gets back to the MVP level.
I would like to think I would love to see Carson rip his shirt off and show off a North Dakota life off on his chest and like, this is who I am. Like in a fight and be like, yo, this is my position. You know how dark a place you get $30 million a year and you're on the practice squad getting the team ready. You know what that do to you psychologically as a player. Like you're the dude that they had on covers before Sunday Night Football, and now you're on the freaking practice team getting the team ready and giving looks. Like I wish he's got to be. Again, if this is how he's taking it out, I get it. But like I want you to be super pissed, yo. Like I want you to be super angry and come back to being you. And that the fact if he doesn't get an opportunity, and this is how he's roll now, keeping him off the field. Because I'm keeping your trade value here, then again we got War of the Worlds going on behind the scenes, and then Doug Peterson is now is coaching for his life. We have another story going on because that's what it is right now. Unfortunately.
What's your guys' thoughts on what 2020 Vision has to say here at the bottom of the screen? He says, what does it say about Wentz's leadership that he played bad all season and he comes out and makes it about him while his team are still fighting for the playoffs? I would like that's something that I really hadn't even considered. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to come out here and frame Wentz as a bad teammate, but like really, when you think about it, like we still are in this hunt. I know the players in this team don't want to lose. I know all these players would like to get in the playoffs in an ideal scenario. Do you think it is kind of a little bit selfish for him to be coming out here, letting a report like this leak while this team still has a fighting chance? It kind of seems like he's making it about himself.
I want to know when he said this. I mean,
Jimmy's going to keep on. We're going to keep on with the same response until I hear from his own goddamn mouth.
All right,
I'm not feeding into this
but,
shit.
but you know that's how. But
yeah.
All right, but you can take. All right, you can say that and take that same approach, but you don't take that same approach with Alshon. You didn't hear that from his mouth. You heard it from Josina.
I felt the same way I do now.
You got a valid point, but that man's attitude on the field speaks for itself.
Who, Alshon?
He goes onto that field. It doesn't even seem like he want to be there.
Well,
I still don't know whether you're talking about Carson or Alshon.
No, I'm talking about Alshon. Carson playing his ass off. Come on, man.
Tim's dying with me,
man.
This is big. I love the energy in here. I mean, we were just very heated about this topic. It's great. Like I thought Prime brought in he sparked it, and now everyone's like, yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now. We got a game about to go on. What we got, like 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Yeah, we got like 20 minutes, right? What's the headline going to be? Prime, this is to you. What is the headline going to be if Jalen comes out here and performs, if not to the level of last week, but even better than last week? What do you think is going to happen within that locker room? And we're all talking about that's the biggest thing that needs to happen is Carson has lost this locker room. So if Jalen performs a duplication of last week or even better, what does that do to this locker room going forward for the next 2 weeks? Now, keep in mind, we have 2 division games left, and we need this locker room to be united like never before throughout this season. What happens?
Hey, I mean, I already thought about this on the way before I even came on, man. It's just, again, another moment where I have to take my foot out of my ass. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
You mean your mouth or your ass?
Mouth, whatever. I mean, wherever anybody decides to go ahead and, it's. I'll eat my words. I mean, I've been proven wrong before. I don't mind. I could take it, man. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I just feel confident to sit here and tell you guys I don't see it.
Well, I think Tim has a great question because, like Prime said, whatever. I mean, we can all talk about so many things, but it's really all going to come down to what does this kid do? So great question, Tim, because of the fact that if he comes out and balls out, then I'm going to be like, holy shit.
Holy shit.
As I said at the beginning of the year, there's, maybe there's some disconnect somewhere. Well, as we get closer, now we're talking about Carson and Doug. If that's the disconnect, that's a major issue. So if that really is then I can see Carson going.
Yeah.
And if Jalen balls out for Doug and Doug calls the right plays, then we're looking at this thing getting it's a better relationship to look at. So for Eagles fans, it's a reality, just like Ertz was, a few weeks ago. We're starting to see these things.
I mean, I said this in the chat.
In the second half.
I said this in the chat earlier. Like Doug Peterson, they've been throwing around this stat all week that Doug Peterson is 11-3 without Carson. This is the stat that they've been throwing out all week since Jalen has made this start. So we already are seeing that Doug is following suit to going right against with that 11-3 mindset of him coaching up the coachable and getting, doing another Nick Foles type of deal where he's grooming this quarterback to get him to do exactly what he wants. So if this kid comes out here and Doug has another good play call set up, he has another good game plan established for this kid. Maybe we open the book a little bit more, let him see some deep passes a little bit more, maybe see some different things like the screen game mix in. We can see all that and see this offense come to a somewhat of a blossom under this kid. What do we do then?
This comment right here.
Go ahead.
I wanted to it's funny that he says that. I've thought this 5 minutes ago, and then seeing we talked about this leak, how it got out, right? Or how and we talked about when Deshaun got let go. They put that story out there.
Activity.
They put that story out there for a reason. People will constantly talk about media manipulation for political stuff, but when you talk about football teams, you know what kind of warfare between agents, between players trying to get out of teams, between front offices trying to make players look a certain way. You don't know where this came from. And again, if somebody wants to paint this narrative as Carson not being Philly tough and him just wanting to get out, put this story out, now these Philly locals are like, he doesn't want it. Get him out of here. Like you can paint these narratives, and that Michael makes a good point, man. Like you just got it. You just wonder who leaked the story.
I mean, I heard that Carson was flashing some gang signs to some Jehovah's Witnesses, so that's out there.
That's man.
We're about to find out in 20 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you excited though? Like you got to be excited.
What are your? Let's go around the room here. What are your guys' keys for this game? I'm curious because I think mine might be a little bit different.
Well, my key for the game is we got to keep up because I'm anticipating a high-scoring game. I'm looking at these wide receivers that the Cardinals have, and they got some firepower. And Kyler Murray scares me with the linebackers that we have. So I'm expecting the Cardinals to be able to put up some points on us. I think, like, to your point where you talked about how well is Jalen Hurts going to play this game and what the conversation is going to be afterwards, I think that all kind of, like, I don't even think the Eagles necessarily need to win the game. If I go out there and I see the offense playing very well, I'm kind of going to forgive the defensive side of the ball because we're undermatched right now as far as our secondary.
I'm looking for, potential, moving the football down the field. You got to keep the Cardinals off the field. They can put together some drives, get some points up early. It puts this whole team in a different light. Now, if they get behind, do they have the offense to keep up in the passing attack? We'll see. I guess there'll be a spy on Jalen Hurts, I feel like. But I feel like if Jalen Hurts could make them pay, with some and hopefully there's some trick plays that happen today because I feel like there's more in the bag. We're at the end of the season. They're playing for their playoff lives here. We could see some trickery as well. But defensively, can the secondary hold up? That's the biggest question. I feel like you have guys that half the fan base don't even know who they are representing your secondary today. But I feel like it's when this team gets in these situations of like we're the underdog is when they start actually like playing. Like they take it personal. And it sucks that it has to get to this point for them to take it personal. I think they might take it personal today. And then with all this news drama today, it could even add some more fuel to the fire. And I don't know, it could be a close one.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. I mean, I think the biggest thing, and I'm gonna steal this from my man Jimmy, but I think the biggest thing is some intensity. They need to have some passion. They need to come out and kind of band together. Like you had these things coming out that are trying to pull you apart like a pizza, and you need to be able to just stuff it back into the box and play yourselves a game. I do think it's going to come to the defensive line. The defensive line has got to show up, and they've got to outperform their offensive line to make sure that our back end is secured. If they do not perform, if I don't get a two sack game from Fletcher Cox, it's not going to be a good day for us as Eagles fans. I think that there's too much speed, and like you were just saying, Gail, they're too young on our secondary to be able to contend with this wide receiving core. And Larry Fitzgerald's not in a walker yet, unbelievably. So he's just gonna old man time over in River over there. But he's a machine. I swear, you rip his skin off and he's got Terminator legs or something.
Dude, he doesn't look bad for 95.
He does not. Oh my god! Yeah.
Still very spry.
You talk. People always throwing like all these applause to Brady and his like off-season regiment. Like, what about Larry, man? Give him some love. Like, what the hell? Like, come on.
Dude, I'm scared of him today. He always does things to us, so I'm a little worried. But I love it, Tim, because you got to bring the energy. The front four has to attack, keep containment. Let's get Kyler Murray on his ass. And then, sure, he's got great receivers, but if we don't give him the time, then who gives a damn? And I know that's a lot to ask, but we've won a Super Bowl with Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby at corner. So I'm just asking for the defensive line to keep doing what they're doing. And I agree with you guys. We got to score a lot of points today. And I like what Tim said. I mentioned earlier in the video, I think we see a little bit of this playbook opened up more. And Gail just mentioned the trickery, some things, that we haven't seen. I think he feels a little more comfortable. So what I really want to see from this game is Doug bringing them cojones out, man. So yeah, that's what I'm
Are we
looking for.
talking about Doug's
Take
ball?
the wheelbarrow
Yeah,
out
man.
of the shed.
I
Man.
miss his balls. I'm gonna be real
Yeah.
with you. I miss this team when they used to come out and they played with that passion. Why the hell do I come here every week getting pissed off and you can't find an outside? I don't give a damn. I can't hold anyone accountable. No, dude, it's sad to watch his pressers and I get pissed off. And I shouldn't have to get pissed off at something I love week in and week out. Evan said it. If you lose, I'm okay with it. At least if you play with some damn heart. Show me that you're holding yourself accountable after that loss and you see the issues. Okay, I'm going to run the ball more. I'm going to use my first round pick. We're going to get the screens going. But we haven't seen any of that. So here we are. And it's getting old. So play with some damn heart today.
That's the key thing, man. Just being upset because of the love that you have for this team. You know what I mean? Again, waking up today and then seeing all this bullshit on the Twitter, that shit already messed my day up. You know what I mean? I was trying to go out and go do some Christmas shopping. I had to call it short. I mean, I had to cut it short because I was so pissed off. I didn't want to deal with nobody. I didn't want to look at nobody. I didn't want to stand in line. I said, the hell with this shit. I'm going to go home, get on, speak my mind, regroup, go back to Christmas shopping during the week. But it's the hunger, man. It's like the hunger's still there. Like at one point, shit, years ago, the next man mentality was like a key thing we didn't have to worry about with this team. Now it's like, shit, I'm worried about it. Who's going to be the person that's going to go ahead and cover DeAndre Hopkins today? Or, you know what I mean? Or Larry Fitzgerald. I wasn't worried about that a couple of years ago because it was the hunger that everybody had to go out there and show that they could go ahead and play that position that they're playing and have that next man up mentality. So it's the hunger, depending on how much hunger they have going into this game, it's still there. Crazy to sit here and tell you guys at 4-8-1, it's still there. Mm-hmm. You know, they could go ahead and still seal this thing up. But I'm going to end it with looking forward to seeing Carson in the second half.
Yeah, he'll be the guy on the sideline with a clipboard.
Yo, right here, Jimmy.
You'll see him. You're
gonna see a Rager bomb today. I really feel that's what I was saying about opening up. That's what I'm trying to see.
Oh, you know what else we're gonna see today? We're gonna see a Slay pick six.
He's not playing.
Yeah,
I know that.
Oh, he's being facetious. Yes. Not today.
Yeah, guys, you know something wild? We've been talking about just the mental toughness and what it's like to play in this city, right? You know where my mind went this week? I was thinking about my man, Unlike Aguilar. I found myself watching that video this week, and I was just like totally, first of all, going back to happier times, even though, I mean, that's not a happy situation. But I was just thinking about Carson, we talked about his mental toughness, him dealing with the fans in the city. Like, that's what this is what we're dealing with. This guy is catching babies out of a burning building, and he's thinking about the Eagles. That's the type of people that exist in this city. It's a different breed of person. So if you don't have the mental toughness to deal with that, I'm sorry, but we're not going to change. It's just, it is what it is, my guy.
My guy. This last month's going to be nuts.
Mm-hmm. I think that the toughest thing for other fan bases to obviously we're all not like that. I mean, we are kind of like that. Here we are. Shout out to Prime's Man Cave. We just always thinking about Eagles like that, and I think a lot of the fan base does. But then the outsiders look at us like these guys are obsessed with this football team. They don't understand. Like you look at the Tat Man who gets an autograph on his belly, and some guy, and then he gets an autograph. He's got them all over.
Someone that did that with Jose Canseco.
Yeah.
This guy is obsessed.
I am obsessed, bro. Like, I'm obsessed with this team.
Yeah,
this team, man. I go to battle for this team. Battle, bro.
Bro, you know I was on my deathbed.
I'm just saying,
get the hell out of my room, dude. Watching my birds.
I battle, man, to the end for this team, but this is just the type of shit that I just wasn't expecting. I sit here and I clown my brother for the shit that they got going on in their organization.
He was in here earlier.
Was he?
Yeah.
I'll clown the Giants. I'll clown the Washington football team, but I wouldn't, expect us to be in the position that we're in right now. And look, now we're the joke of the division.
That's the tough part.
It is 27-24 Dallas.
Yeah, but Washington's making the run. I didn't want to cut y'all off, but Jalen Smith just got stiff armed out the ass. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Like we used to look at Josh Allen overthrow people and like look at like you clown other quarterbacks in the league. You look at
exactly, man.
You know, you look at Dak was having issues and we're like laughing at Dak and other, you know, who else? We're looking at the Washington football team and what their situation was and like laughing at that. But again, like if you can dish it out, you have to take it in because I mean, it came back and bit us, and we are that team right now dealing with all this. You think you know other fan bases around the league thought we were going to like even have this kind of talk with like Adam Schefter and Wentz being out? Like we would have never even thought about that this year. We would have even never crossed our minds this year. But we're here, and you got to just embrace it and just 2020, man, has just been a wild ride. So. You know, before we get out of here, I mean, we got 5 minutes. We'll close it out here, but go around the room. We'll start with Timmy. Shout out to Timmy, man, bringing the fire, bringing up the energy level.
Thanks for joining us, dude.
Yeah, man, anytime.
How are you? You know, last words before we get out of here.
I mean, let's get it, man. I mean, I know the morning didn't start off well for an Eagles fan. You know, reading the pressers, hot off the presses, but hey. So what? I'm rocking it until I die. I'm ready to go. I thought my food was here, so I had to shut out for a little bit, but I'm ready to go. Let's do this. I'll be back in here for post game.
Hell yeah!
Love you guys, man, and let's get it.
Likewise, bro. Likewise. Thank you.
Sam, last word on the Birds before we get out of here.
I would love to see a great game today. I think the Eagles will still lose. Hopefully, field goal or less. But I really just want to see everything go cohesive. You know, I don't need to see anything special. Happy to see him play well.
Well, I feel that, you know, win or lose, I've talked about it earlier in the show, I just want to see this damn team play with some heart. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Doug to maybe he simplified things a little bit, maybe open it up a little more this week. Let's see what Jalen Hurts can do with his arm. Run the ball. The front four, we talked about getting pressure. But you know me, guys, I'm always just asked for this team to play with some damn heart. So if they could come out, beat some ass, somebody chokeslam somebody through a table during halftime if you have to, whatever you got to do, please just go out. And I'm not asking for a win. I would love to see a win. I'd love to see that new quarterback energy and all that great stuff because, guys, let's be real. When the clock hits 1 or 4:05 today, in our case, it's all about the Birds, and it's all about getting that win regardless of how you feel about a draft pick or anything else. Let's go out and beat some Cardinal ass. Go Birds!
Yes. Jimothy.
Fine.
Hey, man, you know, just wishing the Birds the best of luck, man. Jalen, go in there and do what you got to do. You know.
That is so half-ass prime. You don't mean it.
It sounded so recorded. Man.
Are you reading the script right now?
Yeah, that's the script. That was the script.
Yo, take that.
You guys are harsh, man. No, seriously, man. You know, I'm just gonna watch the game, man. I'm just gonna see the outcome. I'm gonna see how much he's been exposed. God damn it! All right, I'm gonna see this Arizona defense linebackers kill him today. Okay, there's the non-script. All right, this is the real me talking right now. All right.
How much fun is this, and how much are you enjoying this experience so far?
Honestly, I think this shit is terrible. Doing all this.
Yeah.
I guess Brian's done.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking for more progression. I'm looking for the chemistry between Doug and Jalen Hurts to continue to build. I'm hoping for the best for this team. I've been saying all show long I'm expecting a shootout. I don't personally believe that our firepower is going to be able to match up to the Cardinals, but I do believe it's going to be a close game. I have it as a 33-31 Eagles loss, unfortunately. However, I'm expecting, well, you know, that's a close game. That's a high-scoring game. I'm expecting to see a lot of good things today that make me feel happy, even though we end up losing this game.
Again, I'm going from evaluators' standpoint only. Like, obviously, I'm rooting for these guys to win. You know, I love the draft and everything, but, like, just to see these guys play with some heart is all I want at the end of the day. I want them to play as one. If it takes this young quarterback, to bring these guys together at this moment, it is what it is. You just want to see some guys play with heart. It's going to be a tough situation for our defense today, especially their secondary. If this front four kicks in the door, waving the 4-4, and you see Kyler Murray on the floor, it could be a different situation, and it could be a close game. I still think the Cardinals have a great shot to take this one. But at the end of the day, man, it's going to be a tough task for our birds today. But as always, we're here rooting, or we're going to be here after the game. Hopefully, a post-game celebration, talking about the birds. But for me and the guys, we will see you guys in the next one. And fly, Eagles, fly.
Boop, 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 boop.
Why is there no audio?